Welcome to the Sports Table, where dominoes and sports meet. I'm Chris, and each show I'll be joined by Theo Carlos.
4 yards, 6 yards down the line of scrimmage, Carlos with the K makes his tackle. He's an embarrassment to football. Yes, he leads the Dolphins in tackles, but that just tells you how bad we are because all his tackles are 8 to 9 yards downfield. You always see him chasing the play and diving on a guy's feet.
Alan.
It tastes like ham juice, like the juiciest ham.
Ham juice.
Yeah, like the juiciest. Like if you were to squeeze the best ham you ever had, that was in the croqueta. Oh,
And our own Cuban guy that struggles with English, Theo George.
I can't pronounce the quarterback's last name.
Kaepernick?
Kaepernick.
Come on,
Call
say
him
it.
Kaepernick.
Kaepernick.
That's not too bad. It's not copper, but it's Kaepernick.
Kaepernick.
This is the Sports Table, where double nines are played. What was the quarterback's name for San Francisco?
What's his freaking name? Coppernickel. Yeah, whatever.
You are now listening to The Sports Table.
This is gonna be fun, man. That swag is back, baby.
Yeah.
it's,
It's on the wrong.
Swag is back.
What team
It's
are
in
you
the
From
wrong
the
area.
same university. The same
but
university.
doesn't mean anything.
With Chris,
Would you have sex with that deer?
Theo Carlos,
Who is Ed Block? I'm a Dolphin fan. Been one since 71. Don't know Ed Block.
Alan,
Combination of choke and suffocation via teeth.
and Theo George. Because here, nothing is off the table.
Can't say swag is back.
Swag is back.
No, swag is back when football does.
Swag is back.
Swag is back my ass.
You are now listening to The Sports Table.
You know what's funny about Hialeah? I went to a restaurant. I have to pick up some food. I go to the restroom. All Hispanic, you see like flies everywhere. I look to my left and it says blokes. I look to my right and it says Sheila's. And I'm like,
So
these are the doors at Outback Steakhouse.
they just stole the Outback
They stole
doors.
the signs from the Outback Steakhouse and they put it on the front of their doors.
With Chris,
I was hacked here at work on my Facebook, and a friend of mine posted a status of the closet is dark, I'm coming out. And everyone was like, it's about time. I have to change something about my personality. Bring my girlfriend as many places as I can.
Theo Carlos,
That
Shut up,
first
Ben.
take show, for the love of Jesus, man. That's like watching the Bravo channel, man. With Skiptora Bayless and Stefania A. Smith. Give me a freaking break, man. Housewives of Bristol. And watch those two little bitches bicker back and forth.
Alan,
I'm very curious because they present something completely different from the general politics amongst the big families. And I just don't know what to expect out of those two. Maybe we're taking over a dragon?
and Theo George.
No, yeah. Except for last night. Yeah. I mean, no, you know what? I'm going to go back to watching. I don't know what I'm watching. Toda la mierda que está ahí, ¿qué cosa hay?
Because here, nothing is off the table.
Can you imagine that conversation when they start nailing it in there? Yes.
No, I want the explanation.
Que lo
when
coge un
some-
bloke.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know how many people?
carajo esta chila?
You know how many,
va un chila?
you know how many people have stopped in front of the doors and gone back and asked where the hell is the men's bathroom?
Porque vi un bloke ahí, pero ¿qué es eso?
¿Qué coño bloque y chila ni un carajo, chico?
Yo, peep the style and the kids checking for it. The number one question is how could you ignore it? We drop right back in the cut over basement tracks with raps that got you backing us up like rewind that. We're just rolling with the rhythm, rise from the ashes of stylistic division. With these non-stop lyrics of life living, not to be forgotten, but still unforgiven. But in the meantime, there are those who wanna talk this and that. So I suppose that it gets to a point where feelings gotta get hurt and get dirty.
Hey,
with the
everybody,
people's
we're
ready to
back.
do it. Go.
Thank God I didn't have the headphones on.
This is the reason why this is the song for our show. Wow. What a start to the show.
Yes.
This is a very special show, everybody. I'm Chris, and each week I'm joined by Theo Carlos to my left, Alan to my right, and Theo George right in front of me.
right in front of you.
That was a montage of our intros because today's a very special day in show history. It's our 1-year anniversary, everybody.
All right.
I think we deserve a round of applause.
And I don't think we ever changed Alan's section intro there at the end. That silence is golden.
That is funny.
This absolutely makes us laugh.
I'm good with that.
We are back here on a very special show. It's one that snuck up on me. It was, I guess, the AFC NFC Championship game, and I realized, oh my God, next week is our 1-year anniversary. The week or 2 weeks leading into the Super Bowl, and I cannot believe it's been that long.
Right.
We did a sort of like test run show the week before, but we didn't count that as an official. This is show 1. So this is the week. This is the week that we did the show 1 year ago. Now, this show is going to be interesting because there's a lot of sports to get to. I'm talking about a lot of sports to get to. The Super Bowl's on Sunday. Miami Heat is currently playing the Oklahoma City Thunder. And Jonathan Martin had some stuff, State of the Union.
He got interviewed today.
Yeah. Stephen Ross said some stuff. You know, there's a lot of sports going on. There might be a union in college sports. There is a lot going on, but it's a special show for us because it's our 1 year and we have a lot of best ofs. I worked hard on this. Alan's helped me out. We've worked on some special clips for each of us, one of us, some of our favorite sound bites, some of our favorite cuts. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff for Jorge. It was kind of hard to find it, but it sort of just spilled out, as it came on going. You know what I'm talking about, Jorge.
I have no idea.
You're a natural.
You wouldn't
You're a natural is what it is.
You didn't let me. You didn't let me or Carlos go in there.
Yeah, no one's heard their stuff. Alan's heard a little bit of your Carlos and a little bit of Jorge, but no one's heard their own stuff except for me.
So we didn't do anything. You did something.
I did. Yeah, I worked on this. Alan helped out right here in the little bit. That's why we started a little late. He helped out towards the end, but I hope the fans enjoy this. We started off with 4 fans, all of us here.
I think we've doubled.
I think we've tripled.
Tripled?
I think we have what? How much is triple of
12?
I know. We actually I don't know. We probably have like 17, 18 listeners,
Wow.
Yeah.
It only took us 1 year to do that, guys.
Wow.
Woo!
This time next year, we'll almost have 30.
We're coming for you, Mike and Mike.
We
Sons of bitches.
Levitard, watch your back. We have
No. We'll leave his back alone.
We have special guests on the show today. Special guests close to our hearts here as the Sports Table. Nobody knows what it is. None of you 3 knows who it is. And I'm not going to lead up to it. I'm just going to bring them on the phone, and we're going to experience the magic from there. But we're going to get to all that best of stuff throughout the show. I want to start off the show with sports like we never do. Because we always start off the show with, a dictator dying, now an avalanche. What else do we start off the show with?
Can we talk about
music?
Justin Bieber getting arrested?
Justin Bieber getting arrested. That was an update. I was going to give the update in my Come Mierda segment.
Oh, my God. The updates keep getting better.
This guy's incredible.
I got to be honest with all three of you and the listeners. Doing the best of stuff, I was giggling to myself. I sent you guys text messages. I was giggling to myself for hours and hours of all the stupid stuff we do here on the Sports Table. I mean, there was one example. It's not in the clips. I set it aside, but it was an example where, what was the text that I sent you? We said Alan.
Yeah.
Alan's Come Mierda was Kanye West.
Oh, that's right.
And then Theo George goes, who's Kanye West? And then Alan starts to explain who it is.
Who would name their kid Kanye?
Not the same guy that names them North?
Alan starts explaining who it is, and then Carlos just cuts in and goes, it's a negro que está con Kardashian, like that. And that's just
explanation accepted. Got it.
a little tidbit of the show. It smells good in this room. Alan, explain why it smells so good in this room.
Well, considering the first opening, I thought, it's a momentous occasion. What should I bring for a momentous occasion? Croquetas.
Oh, we have croquetas.
Yep.
Oh, we got juicy croquetas.
Hence that those little coffee things. Those are our plates.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I had to steal something no one would notice.
He brought the ham juice.
I brought the ham juice.
It was funny, man. We'll get to all that stuff later. Right now, the Super Bowl is on Sunday. Have you guys been watching any of the Super Bowl coverage?
No.
Nope.
Okay.
I've watched very little of it. A lot less than I thought I would have watched by now, but no.
So we have Super Bowl coverage to get to, I guess. The game itself, the Heat are, again, they're playing Oklahoma City. Union, I really want to get into that Union stuff. That was a nice, tidbit leading into the show. Carlos, you're sick right now.
I'm not feeling 100%.
He came in looking like Will Smith from, what is it? What was that movie with him? The Date Doctor. What was it called? Hitch.
No, Hitch.
Yeah, he came in looking like Hitch with the big ears swollen, and he's drinking the Benadryl. That was Carlos, man.
Benadryl, steroids, taking it all.
He had the cauliflower ears.
No Hall of Fame for Carlos.
Yeah, Carlos. let's reflect before we get into the sports. Carlos has done some crazy things for this show.
Let's see.
Stuff that's bordered on divorce.
Let's see. You've ended a vacation.
He did. Yeah, he ended it early. Right. He's called in from the Keys.
Yeah.
He's tried to
Yeah,
call in
he's
from the woods.
He's the only person who's been missing and then called in to make sure he's on the show.
Right. He's sick now. His ears are ridiculous.
I believe you threatened anybody who sat in your chair.
True.
Yes, I did do that.
Yeah.
Looking up the audio for the show, we make fun of George for not being on the show, but Jorge, this is like your 6-month anniversary.
I know. I was thinking more like 3 months, but thank you. I'm sorry.
No, man, don't apologize. That's what brings it to the show. That's what gives our bench, a chance to play. You're Dwayne Wade. You're Dwayne Wade right now.
Right, no
you can just sit
back-to-backs.
down. Yeah, exactly. Just come in.
You're a superstar, but you don't have the knees for back to back.
Right. The Super Bowl coverage that I want to get to is not, Peyton Manning versus Richard Sherman, or is Richard Sherman a thug or whatever. The thing that I want to get to is this whole thing about it being in New York. For me as a Miami guy, it doesn't make sense because it's beautiful weather down here. I'm talking gorgeous weather. I mean, today it rained a little bit in the morning, but it's always been nice for the most part in the Super Bowls, except Peyton's, winning one. But up there, I was doing the Defo show this morning. It's 20 degrees.
Yeah,
it's miserable.
I think the blizzard is going to end like the Saturday before they play. I'm pretty sure that's what I've heard. That they're hoping the blizzard ends on time, which is Saturday.
Right, the day before. I got you. The thing that I want to ask is, the Dolphins have they've been put in a position where the Super Bowl might not be in Miami for a long time because the NFL wants the stadium and the Dolphins can't afford it. They tried to get it in this past offseason. It didn't happen. For you, does it matter where the Super Bowl is? Would you prefer it to be in Miami? Like, what's your opinion on the Dolphins, the Super Bowl, and it being cold weather? Because I hate it.
Well, I think personally that AFC championship games and division championship games, they can be played at the home sites.
Right.
And I think the teams that have won those games and have the records and have the home field advantage deserve that. But once you get to the Super Bowl, there is no discernible difference in the teams. They're both champions of their conferences, and they're playing for the Super Bowl. Why would you even consider putting the two best teams in a league in a situation where weather can dictate the outcome of a game, knowing that there was a problem?
Right.
You're absolutely putting one team at a disadvantage over another team. And I think that when I watch the Super Bowl, I want to see talent, and I want to see talent prevail. And I want to see what the best team can do. We are not going to see the best team win the game, even if you consider Denver to be the best team and they do win it.
Right.
We're not going to see the best football that we could possibly see. Not like you would see it in San Diego or like you would see in here or in California somewhere. It's not going to happen. It's going to be 20 to 30 degrees. There's probably going to be some sleet or some water coming down at one point or another, and 20, 25-mile-an-hour winds. That's not going to be optimal Super Bowl weather.
Does the stadium get filled up?
Yeah, it's still a prestigious event to say you went to one. That'll be there. The stadium will sell as if it was filled. The question would be, are people going to stay there?
True.
Because I mean, if you're in a 20-degree blizzard, it's one thing if you're the home crowd and you're Cleveland's cheering for the depressive team and they're out there with no shirts and looking like dogs, but the Super Bowl is not full of those people.
No, it's not.
Normal people don't go to the Super Bowl.
Don't people dress up for the Super Bowl?
Yeah, it's like a Miami Heat game. You go there all fancy, like it's the club.
Yeah.
Well, I think one of the things that's going to really drive a wedge into this game while we're trying to watch it is going to be the fact that those people that are going to be there, it's going to take them 2 to 3 hours to get into the stadium once they're on the grounds. They're going to have to be going through metal detectors and searches. Everyone's being searched. Everyone's being wanded on the way in. You're going to be standing in an hour-and-a-half line, 2-hour line in sub-freezing temperature.
Yeah.
As you get on the trains throughout the boroughs, everybody's being checked, including seat cushions and everything. And when you get off the train next to MetLife Stadium, which is, like they said, like 400 or 500 yards away from the stadium, you're going to be wanded and checked again, and then on your way into the stadium again. I don't have a problem with the excessiveness of the checks. I think that's a great idea.
Right.
My issue is that you're going to be standing outside in sub-freezing temperature while the line moves slowly.
Jorge and Carlos, you guys have lived in cold weather?
Yeah.
I'd never lived in cold weather.
Explain what cold weather is, because for me it's like $1 million or a successful Dolphin season.
Inconceivable.
Yeah.
It's when you go outside and it's below 25 or so, it's hard to stay outside and have any part of your body exposed to it.
Yeah,
Just freeze.
What is that?
It's
Any
miserable.
part of your body exposed?
Yeah.
Like if it's chemicals.
It's difficult, man. Even in Carolina, when it doesn't get that cold, it's 17, 20, 25 degrees.
Yeah.
Man, it's cold. And that wind's blowing, it's cold. You can't put enough clothing on to cover yourself and to keep yourself warm. And even we've been out there, for an hour, 45 minutes to an hour. We'll ride the bikes a little bit. We'll chase the dog or whatever. And then I'm hauling ass inside to get by the fire.
Right.
It gets cold. That's miserable cold.
I think this is a good prop bet that will do. How many people would you say on both offenses, okay? Because defensive guys are crazy, that do not wear sleeves.
Oh, probably hardly any of them.
4.
That will not wear sleeves?
4. At least 4 linemen. There'll be one guy who's more enlightened and is like, no.
Lineman?
Jonathan Martin?
Yeah, it would be
wearing
hard.
a parka.
But the linemen
Yeah,
are going to be out there like, no. We're tough. We got this shit. Put some tape on my fingers. Give me the shortest sleeves possible. I got this.
I mean, he gets cold in
Green
Denver.
Bay, yeah.
The big difference between Denver and New York is the humidity. In Denver, there's hardly any, so the cold is not. It doesn't feel as bad as it does when there's humidity in the air. It's really bad.
What would Jonathan Martin and Rich Incognito wear?
Jonathan would wear a mink.
No,
And-
I would you say like 2 layers of thermals, maybe an Under Armour under that.
Yeah.
No, man. I think Carlos is. You know what he
think
would?
I'd go out
No.
there
He would wear the
Thickest pair
the
of gloves.
Playboy. Who's the guy from Playboy?
Hefner.
The Hefner jacket.
Smoking
Oh,
jacket.
no.
Yeah.
The minute he got off the field, there'd be 3 parkas stacked on each other waiting for him. He's not dumb. He's like, no. I am keeping my body
He's
hot.
gonna play one of those electric blankets and a extension cord all the way to the field. He has their blanket wrapped on the line.
And Incognito, like the.
I don't wear shit.
He'll be in
He'll
his
be in his
Speedos.
underwear.
He'll be in his jockstrap, playing in his
I'd
jockstrap.
wear the smallest pair of pants. No pads, please.
Shoulder pads and a jockstrap and
No.
a helmet. That's Richie.
He found a deer on the side of the road, carved it, and put the carcass over his body.
Hey, Cam
Probably.
Blake, where's your sports bra? I shall wear it. Put a number on that shit. I've got to play in the 20-degree cold.
And then he sees Jonathan Martin in the Hugh Hefner jacket walking for.
Hey, boy, come and snuggle. Come and snuggle.
Rookie, you look like a pussy. I'm not a rookie anymore. God, Jesus, man. You're dressed like a rookie. You don't know how to deal with the cold.
There's one cliched argument that people are constantly having. I don't understand it. Peyton Manning and his cold weather play. They say the record. He's below 500 in the record. He's not very good, but he's been playing awesome. This is probably the greatest season he's had in his entire career.
Right.
Where does that balance out? Like the way that he's been playing this season compared to the cold weather and the defense of Seattle.
I don't know. You know what? When he played the games that he's lost the multiple games. He lost to the Steelers. He lost to
Baltimore.
to Baltimore, and then he lost to New England. When New England had the dynasty going on,
Right.
Baltimore won the Super Bowl, and the Steelers won the Super Bowl. I mean, come on.
All road
Just
games.
because he was the best quarterback doesn't mean that he had the best team at that time. And that's what it was. Those 3 teams at that time were much better than they were. The Steelers could run the ball, pound it, and play defense. And then the Ravens were the best defensive team ever. And Tom Brady's Tom Brady and the Patriots.
Not lost in all that. All those games are road games.
Absolutely.
Like that you don't even have to go in questioning whether his teams are. No, they did not finish ahead of the teams he played.
Yeah, because they were not that good.
Yeah.
They was just Peyton Manning good.
You know what I think? Because I want Denver to win, and it would be a shame if Denver loses the game because of the weather.
Yeah, I agree.
That would suck.
That's my
That
point.
really would suck. I mean, I don't know if Goodell. I don't know. I don't know how he came out to this decision. I really don't.
That's easy money.
I don't understand
Well,
it.
I was listening to a conversation that expressed that it really wasn't Roger Goodell, that it was Pete Rozelle, prior to this, that was trying to get the Giants to build a stadium and share with the Jets and promised them, if you guys get this done, you'll get a Super Bowl over there. So basically what happened was that was already agreed upon handshake kind of deal, and all Roger Goodell did was follow through on what Rozelle wanted. Remember, Rozelle's a New Jersey guy too.
Right.
So, that's all kind of political and monetary. It's what all about.
To get into the game a little bit more, there's this guy. He just got hired by ESPN. He has a blog. He used to work for the New York Times, I think. It was like 3,400. It was like 3,400 blog where he simulates and he predicts, events. He was perfect or near perfect in both the past presidential elections. That's when he went over to the New York Times. Now he's coming back to ESPN, and he was saying stats about this game and how much of an anomaly this is. He said 8 times since the Super Bowl era, 8 times the two best teams in the NFL are playing each other, and this is one of those years. He said that statistically, both teams are so dominant on what they do that the predictions on the computer was a toss-up. He said it was a toss-up. He said that the fraction is so small between the difference of both teams that he couldn't predict who would come out and win, and this guy's predicted presidents. So, aside from all the statistics and theory and logic, who wins the Super Bowl? Because, George, you're going for Denver. Do you think they win?
Yeah, I do. I think they're a better team. I don't think anybody can stop. Again, all things being equal regarding the weather, I think if they can throw the ball, Denver can be stopped. It's very, very hard to stop them.
Score. Give me the score.
Yeah, to score.
No. Give me the score of the game.
28-21.
Okay, you guys.
It's all on the weather, man.
It's all on the weather.
If
What a sad.
that's the
sad
thing.
game.
That's the thing. If that
Choose
blizzard
a
shows
team.
up, no, look, I want Denver to win. I think Denver
There you go.
should win. I've listened to it all week on the radio that strength on strength. Yeah, you can maybe call it a push. The Manning versus the Seattle defenses.
The Legion of Boom. Sorry.
But
Nice job there.
the weakness on weakness, everyone is saying it's a Denver win, that their defense is better than Seattle's offense. The problem is that if that blizzard lasts till Sunday and Goodell doesn't go to his contingency plan, which is play the game on Tuesday, Peyton Manning's going to have to rely on Noshawn Moreno to win him the game.
The Super Bowl on Tuesday? That's really the
I've heard that
contingency
he
plan?
has a contingency plan.
Yeah, he
that
does.
if it's
Oh
that
my
bad,
gosh.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Tuesday. Friday and Saturday are pretty much out already. So that's fine. Let me tell you something. I think the difference between these teams, the difference defensively between the two teams is smaller than the difference offensively is between the two teams.
I agree with you.
I think the difference on offense is so much more in Denver's favor than the defense for Seattle. I give Seattle an edge on defense. It's just not nearly as big an edge as the offense that Denver gets. So I think that they will be able to contain the Beast. I think they'll be able to contain Lynch. And
Really? The defense has been bad. They haven't been very good.
They've improved the last 6 weeks.
They played a lot better, especially at the nose.
Because they've been getting healthier. Right?
Knighton's played really well at the nose, and I think if, in fact, they can keep him at 75 to 100 yards, I think that they're going to do a really good job with that. I think that the game's going to show to be a little bit too big for Russell Wilson.
So all three of you are for Denver then?
Yeah, I think Denver wins.
Yep.
31-17.
Oh, so you think it's not even close?
Yeah, I don't think that the outcome of the game will be in the balance.
I'm in his direction, assuming there's not a blizzard that freezes Peyton Manning on the
Right.
spot.
See, the thing is, with my heart, I want to say Denver because Denver has. Well, first of all, they've had a lot of people on my fantasy team this year, and they've held
Made you
dear to
feel
my
good?
heart. Yeah. Peyton Manning, like Alan says, Peyton Manning arguably has had just as good, maybe slightly worse, or not as good as LeBron James' first year when he won the ring.
Mm-hmm.
When LeBron James won that first year that he won the ring, he had won the gold medal, he won the MVP, he won his first finals, and he was the MVP of the finals.
Right. Peyton
Manning has broken all the records this year. He's probably going to win the MVP. And then if he wins the Super Bowl and wins the Super Bowl MVP, that's comparable.
Very much so.
That's comparable in regards to great seasons. So I want that for Peyton Manning. On the other hand, Seattle, the elements are so in their favor because all they do is run the ball. So they didn't have to throw the ball. Whereas Peyton Manning, I know they can run the ball, but for the majority, the offense has been carried through the passing game. And the defense is so good. I mean, that safety, Thomas from Seattle, he's a man freak. He's like a linebacker. So I'm leaning towards Denver just for the reason, and it's the theory, give me the better quarterback. And Peyton Manning has been the best quarterback in football, so I'm leaning that way too.
The disparity is so big between the two, and I think when they ask Russell Wilson to make a play, he's not going to be able to make the play they need, and that's going to be the big turnover and the turning point of the game.
But I don't think it's going to be that high scoring. I really don't. I think it's going to be a lot of 4-and-outs. I don't think it's going to be a very fun game to watch. I think it's going to be more or less like 20-17, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's real low scoring.
Yeah.
Denver hasn't scored 20 points in any game this year.
They haven't faced this defense in that weather.
That sounds like a high-scoring Dolphin game.
Yeah, I think the weather's more. Again, I remember when 7 or 8, 9 weeks ago when they played the Chiefs and everybody was talking about how great the Chiefs were on defense.
Right.
Granted, they're not Seattle, but he ripped them apart for 440 some odd yards and 4 touchdowns. On a good field, if you're gonna have to bring 5 to get to him, you bring 5, he's beating you all day long.
If the weather is good, he'll kill them.
Yeah,
he will.
There's some Dolphin news that I want to get to. Carlos sent me the text. I had no idea it happened. Carlos, you want to break the news?
This afternoon's text?
Yeah.
Oh, Mr. Gaines, the assistant the assistant general manager to Jeff Ireland he wasn't terminated because again they coach their words very closely, same as with Jeff, that they mutually decided to part ways. Except when you say somebody's mutually decided to part ways, you normally don't escort them out of the building with security. That's what happened. They escorted Mr. Gaines out of the building with security. Why? I don't know. I don't know if it had something to do with preparations for the draft and free agents and stuff that they didn't want him to take any information and leave it all there. But Mr. Gaines was escorted out of the building.
I feel like that whole regime, the Ireland, Gaines, Sperano, there's Stephen Ross isn't in it as well. They're so bad. They just publicly they look so bad. I feel like every decision that they've made has come out poorly. Did you hear the Jonathan Martin interview or any bits and pieces of it?
I did. I heard a little bit.
The Dolphins haven't talked to Jonathan Martin since he left.
Yes, and he hasn't reached out to them either.
Yeah, but he's the one that's having he's a former employee of theirs, and he's the one that's having the interviews.
Yeah, the onus should be on the Dolphins to reach out.
To reach out to him. That to me is like, how is that not the first call? How is that not your first call before when you hear the interview or when he's been missing, On
a weekly basis, just touching base, Jonathan. Want to make sure you're okay, you're staying in it, just to see.
Anything about the investigation, nothing. Right. No contact at all. All the moves that the Dolphins make have been, just head scratcher, sort of, put your head in your shirt. I can't believe this is going on. And it's going to be to the point where we had a run of shows where I did not want any Dolphins in the show.
Yes.
And it's going to happen again. Because the moves that they're making are just they're frustrating. We have a new GM.
Yes, we do.
The Dolphins have a new general manager. We didn't even talk about it.
That's because no one knows who the hell he is.
Oh, he's been around for 18 years in Tampa, right across the I-quarter. Mm-hmm. But, what does that tell you? He's been there for 18 years. They never thought he was good enough to be a general manager. They never even thought he was good enough to be an assistant general manager. Yeah. And they promote him, and we hire him.
Well, it's a good thing he was our first option.
Yeah, well, our first option after the first 8 turned us down.
Oh, he was our 8th option. Oh,
Yep.
my goodness.
Yep.
Because the minority assistant general manager in Cleveland withdrew his name.
Yep, he did.
Withdrew his name.
Is that the one that got his name wrong all the time?
I don't remember.
Ray Farmer or Roy Farmer?
Yeah, Roy Farmer, Ray Farmer,
Yeah,
Rick Farmer.
The story is that
Ron John Farmer.
Yeah,
He called him everything except his real name.
Yeah.
And they kept and whoever was in the meeting allegedly kept bringing up his real name, and he kept
Ross just kept
butchering
destroying it. Like I think it's Ray, isn't it?
His real name I think is Ray, yes.
Yeah, so it's just Roy, that's how we're gonna do it. I mean, do you understand, Roy?
Hey,
Roy, you
hey,
still
Rick,
with me? Roy,
Rick.
why are you shaking your head? I don't understand, Roy.
Rick, you got to listen to Donna, right, Rick?
He's got so many characteristics of wanting. You would think of him wanting to come here. He's in Cleveland, first of all.
That alone,
That's
should let
enough
you know
to
what
leave.
the hell out
Spent
of
1 year in Cleveland. I'm out of here.
He's an assistant GM. There's only 32 jobs for a general manager. There was one available, and he was interviewed for it. And he's a minority. He's a minority guy.
So he had a shot.
He had a shot. What was it? Being one of the first ones? I don't know if there's ever been a general manager. Oh no,
Well,
Otis Smith.
Ozzie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ozzie. But there's not that many.
No.
There's a small pool of them. So you would think all those things, and you're living down here in Miami. Miami, for what we say about the team, they have, some players that are serviceable.
And we have beaches and restaurants, which
And-
they don't have in Cleveland.
Right. And he turned that away. And he was the 4th or 5th guy to turn it away. When you, George, are interviewing people for a position, I'm asking you because I want you to pay attention. Stop looking at the heat. When you are interviewing people for a position and so many people turn it down, what does that say about you or the position? Like what? Explain what's going on.
I would think you would, that your company is not very good. Really, that's what it comes down to. Football is not like a regular company or anything like that. There's a lot of show business in football. So I don't know how or why these guys turned down the position. To me, it's insanity, but, that's what happened.
Stemmer called me.
Oh,
Stemmer called me. He never calls me.
You must have been on the phone for 2 hours.
I said about, what's up, Stemmer? And then that's it. He called me complaining about, he's always been a rah-rah Dolphin guy. And he's saying he couldn't believe how many people have turned down that job. He's saying it looks bad again, it's just another thing that just looks bad on the Miami Dolphins.
Absolutely.
It's one of those things that they start looking at. You can kind of read into it that whatever Ross is offering in terms of power structure, they're looking at it and saying, "Look, this is more than not for me. This is a setup to fail."
Well, yeah, when you're
and
walking
I'm not going to take my first job to fail and have to be Cam Cameron, who's never going to be a head coach ever again because he showed up here, and we got Cameroons. Like it was a bunch of mierda.
Right.
No, when you're ultimately told that you're going to be answering to Donna Ponte and you don't have say-so over the coaching staff and you don't have say-so over your head coach, what else is there for a general manager to do? Pick a player?
Right.
And now you're going to have to pick the player that the coach wants. And you're not reporting to the owner, you're reporting to Don. Come on. I mean, that's why these people that
Is that the way it is right now?
Actually, it's the owner, it's Don on one side, and it's the general manager on the other side. But she doesn't answer to him. She answers to the owner.
Uh-huh.
And you can't work that way.
And the general manager,
he works with her, answers to her, and answers to Ross.
So he's under her.
Allegedly.
Miami's got the Dolphins.
The greatest football team. You take the ball from goal to goal like no one's ever seen.
Come on, Allen.
We're in the air, we're on the ground, we're always in control.
Man.
And when you say Miami, you're talking Super Bowl, because we're the Miami Dolphins.
Allen.
Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins #1. Yes,
I'm not
we
getting
are.
involved with this shit.
Miami Dolphins.
It's so sad. What about this one? Fins to the left.
That's even worse.
Yeah, that is
At least the other one I can forgive because it was, our crusty old anthem.
Rip off.
Did you hear about Jeff getting ripped at the Marino's autistic walk of all things?
What?
Yeah, fans that were out there walking were just mercilessly jumping all over him and cursing him out and yelling at him. They had to get security out there.
What?
Yeah, man, it was a bad thing. It was a bad thing.
Jeff Ireland, my God.
I miss Jeff.
That's right. Now, what's the name of our GM? I don't even know what his name is.
Dicky.
Yeah.
Hickey.
Something
Hickey.
Hickey. No,
Harry
something
Dickey.
Hickey.
Harry Dicky.
Hickey. He's gonna be the new target, right?
Well, again, I'm going to give this man a chance. I'm going to give him an opportunity to show me that he sucks.
Shane Battier can't hit anything.
If he can't, then we got a problem.
Miami Heat are playing Oklahoma City, and they are down by 12
After being up by 18.
in the first half, and it's now in the third quarter. They're down 72-60. We're watching that. That's why George isn't participating.
Incredible how quickly,
What do you mean? I am talking.
how quickly they lose interest, man. They were up. They knew they can run these guys out of the gym, and they stopped playing.
Is that what that is?
I don't think so.
I don't think that's what that is. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go to break. We're gonna eat some of these croquetas because they smell heavenly.
Oh, baby. I just had chips, man. I wish you would have told me.
I didn't know.
We had croquetas.
I didn't know.
No, I know you didn't know.
I thought you'd
I don't think
appreciate
he's
the
obligated
surprise.
to tell you anything. He's not
Oh,
obligated
that's fine.
to say
Hey,
anything.
And him. at
Your
the same time.
five croquetas go to everyone else. That's fine.
It
No,
was-
I'm
it
going to
was-
eat croquetas.
It was his surprise, and he's not obligated to divulge it until he's ready.
Well, you're right.
He was hiding them in his pants.
You're right.
We're gonna go to break. We're gonna come back. We're gonna have some best of stuff, guests, interviews. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Yes, here we go again, give you more, nothing lesser. Back on the mic is the antidepressant and rock.
Welcome back to the Sports Table, everybody. 1 year. 1 year. Let's go over 1 year anniversaries. Do you guys remember yours? It was a while back. 1 year anniversaries.
Yes. Yeah, I remember my 1 year wedding anniversary.
What was it?
We went to the Caribbean Beach Resort in Orlando in Disney World. We spent the weekend there.
Look at that.
I remember vividly.
Jorge?
I don't remember.
He's messing
we
with
did.
you.
Yeah, that makes sense. Alan?
No comment.
Okay. My 1 year anniversary with my current girlfriend, I went to Daytona and I watched freaking NASCAR.
Beautiful. That's something you will never forget.
And then we went to SeaWorld. So it was like a big weekend.
Oh, good. Excellent.
That song is my choice. The theme of today's show is the 1 year anniversary, and it's basically whatever songs reminds you of the show. Whatever song, it's the show, you know. However you want to interpret it. This song reminds me of the show because this is the first album that I chose to introduce for the show. Remember when we did the albums?
Right.
This was my favorite song from that album, and it's part of our first intro. So whenever I hear this song, it always, brings me back to the early days of the show.
Mm-hmm.
So it holds a special part. You know, it's not very funny like some of the other themes, but for me
Right.
personally, that's what reminds me of the show. This second segment now, what I want to do is I want to get into some of the best stuff because we've been here for a year and we have a lot of material and we don't have interns and we don't have even really many fans. So it's just for us. It's just for the whole show was just for us, isn't it?
It basically is because you know what? There are some shows that actually have a station and get paid to do the work, and they're not on for a year.
Mm-mm.
So you know what? We've outlasted some of those.
We ain't getting paid, but
That's true. Maybe that's why we're still here.
exactly. But the show just shows for us. I mean, I'll tell my girlfriend or somebody else, something happened that was funny on the show,
Right.
or a little back and forth, and they'll smile, give me the head nod. They'll give me the "I guess you had to be there" look. And you know what? They're right. They're right.
Exactly.
Half the stuff is you just got to be here. But I really enjoyed, not to get sentimental with you guys, as Kevin Durant shoots a three in my heart. I enjoy doing this. When I first got into 940 wins, when I got hired here, I wanted to do this professionally. I wanted to be on the air, on the radio, and do this show. And if I had to choose people to do this show, you four or you three are the people I want to do it with.
Well,
Thank
not
you.
all three of us.
No, man, all three. Well, when you can get here. But this is the show that I wanted them. So I'm really happy with, the way this has turned out, and it's a year. How many hobbies last a year?
Yeah, it's true. Not many.
Golf is. I mean, George's been playing golf for how long? 6 years?
No, man. I've been playing golf for
30?
over 20 years.
And he's still not good at it. So
No,
there's
That is true.
the first clip. This is the segment. We're gonna break up the show. Is some of the stuff that I've done in the show. Now I want to get out of the way because I don't like talking about myself or bringing stuff in. Funny, behind the scenes stuff. As I'm doing the audio search, I need descriptions of the show because, it's hard finding a year's worth of audio, and remembering what shows where it is and everything.
Right.
So where do I go? I go to the YouTube channel because the YouTube channel, we have descriptions of it. It just so happens every description is about Allen. Every single description is about Allen.
That's right.
All the shows that are described,
History is written by the winners, bro.
all the shows,
By the writer.
all the shows that have been described, it's through Allen. Allen is like, Allen's music today, warning.
Oh yeah,
or,
yeah. My music one had a warning on top
Yeah.
of it before anything else got said. Before any quote for the show, it just said warning. Alan chose music.
Or it's like Dolphins talk and Heat talk, and George calls Allen, a nerd or something. All the descriptions are about Allen, so I had to sift through. But the first piece of audio, the best of stuff for the show, the 1 year in review. It's something that we do each show. It's something that I do each show, and it's a staple. The show doesn't start now without it.
True.
So there's 35 shows. I started, history when we do our play cards when we have a board game.
Mm-hmm.
I started doing this on show 6, the woo. Okay, so here is some of the best starts and the best woos to the sports table.
And the best jumps by George.
Tu madre.
Where's the energy, guys? Let's try that again. Ready?
Testing.
Woo! We're back, everybody. Yeah! Woo! Yeah. That's the kind of woo we give on this music.
Yeah, baby.
I can't do the woo. Woo! I can't do. I
You'd
go.
ruin
woo.
it. You'd ruin it. It's so calm, and all of a sudden,
Woo! Yeah.
woo.
He's back! Whoa! Whoa! He's back! Whoa! Yeah, baby! Woo! You're making this really hard to do my. Hard to do that with this music.
I am. I know.
Woo! Welcome back, everybody.
It's about time.
That one was extra loud.
Woo! Woo! Yahoo! Woo!
What the hell?
Yeah! Woo! Welcome back, everybody. That's where you guys jump in and go, hey! Yeah! What the hell, man?
Why are we listening to this for so long? We played the big. Thank you.
Woo! That's right.
We're back.
Tu madre.
So that was a little bit of the best of woos
That was
for
good.
the show.
That was good.
That was
Especially when the music was accompanying it.
It started off to scare George, and
Right.
then it ended up being, the show stamp. But we're all watching we were like half listening and half
Oh
watching
my
the
God.
Heat game. They just drilled the 3 to end the third quarter. Who was that? Derek Fisher?
Yeah, backboard too.
91-75. Your Miami Heat is getting smoked
But
and
he missed.
embarrassed.
No,
And-
he made it.
No, he made it. Yeah, to score 91. Your Miami Heat are getting embarrassed, and that's what kind of what I want to talk about in between the the bits for this first segment. Miami Heat right now, it's halfway through the season. They're more or less around where they were last year. Everyone's been saying, this was the time that they pushed through. They hit the pedal. They went on this 27-game winning streak. LeBron James went off and won his MVP during this time. They're getting crushed right now against Oklahoma City. This is the first time that that's happened against a big team, that I can think of, because they crushed San Antonio. They played well against Indiana. And that's really the best teams that they've played so far. They haven't really played anybody.
Yeah, but they played well in the first quarter. I mean,
What does that mean?
Well, it means exactly what it means, that these guys are playing well in the third quarter. It means nothing. I mean, they had an 18-point lead. They went on an 18-0 run. They shut them down. They defended. They took good shots, and all of a sudden they lost the edge. That happens, and it's hard to get it back when you get that lead. If it would have stayed a 2-4 point game back and forth both ways, then you have a game. But when you get that big lead, you lose that intensity. Sometimes you don't get it back.
Miami Heat are the only thing that we have. That's all we have.
That's true.
And the losses hurt. Alan, you can attest to this. The losses bother, especially in the playoffs, they bother us more than any of the losses.
Well, I feel like I have been kind of worn down with the Heat a little. They don't hurt now because I'm almost jaded. Like, it doesn't mean anything now. Now we've become the sports town with some perspective. Oh, no, nothing means anything. No. So right now it doesn't hurt. It'll hurt if they lose in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's the only team that will hurt me. Because the other ones, kind of expect it.
I'm just, again, I may be one of those that just, the guy you don't want to hear from. I just don't see how. I don't see how they don't get to meet Indiana and then dispatch Indiana. I just don't see it. And I've been watching this game for a very long time.
People are building a lot of case. Well, they're not building a lot of case because that doesn't make sense. They're putting a lot of information for the case against Miami.
Sure.
And Dwayne Wade's probably the biggest one. Every person that's talked about, well, Miami might not win, or they'll give Indiana credits and they'll mention Dwayne Wade's health. Now, Dwayne Wade is the man for me. He's my favorite athlete with an F. I loved him since he got here, since he hit that game-winning shot against New Orleans in the playoffs. Dwayne Wade is getting old.
He went through a procedure. This is exactly what they expected based on everything I've heard from the inside, reporters and the people that are supposed to know.
Yeah.
This is what they expected. They expected him to be now turning the page and getting in there, and sometime in February toward the end of February is when he's going to become playing. And to come in March, they're expecting to play him back-to-backs and start playing well. This is not a surprise according to the Heat. So if according to the Heat, this is what they expected, this is the kind of management that they needed, they thought they were going to need for him, I'm okay. I'm okay with them winning 50 games.
Did you guys see the start of the game or hear the start of the game? Did Dwayne Wade come off the bench?
No, he started.
No, he started.
He started?
Yeah.
Would you be upset if Dwayne Wade was Manu Ginobili? If he came off the bench and just played late in the fourth quarter?
The question is, would he be upset?
Yeah, I don't think that's for us to be upset. My thing is if Dwayne's on.
Well, he's so personal to me, I guess.
If Dwayne's on the court as a sixth guy coming off the bench, first man off the bench, that means that bench is going to be that much stronger. So I don't have a problem with that if it works. If it works for him and it works for the Heat, I don't have a problem with it. I don't think that's the issue though. I think he'll be fine. I think when push comes to shove and the Heat have to play and win, I think they'll win. I think they'll roll through the first two series and sweep. And then beat Indiana, 4-2. That's it.
4-2?
4-2. I don't even think it's going to be as close as it was last year.
I don't know, man. This could be what? Could you make the argument this is the most talented Heat team ever?
Yeah.
No, they are.
They are. They're also old though, which is why they're in this position of
Who's
managing
old?
themselves.
The only one who's
They're
old
the
is-
oldest team in the NBA.
Well,
because they got Battier and they got
All right,
Allen.
Allen. They have
And
Well,
Greg
then who-
Oden looks old.
And who's young?
That Joker's only 26, man.
know.
he got drafted the same time that what's his
he
name
just
did.
turned 26 in January.
He's
Duran.
got that Benjamin Button.
Keep going. I mean, take all the ancillary stuff and kind of open the door. If this guy becomes the player that he can be, not the player that he was, obviously he's not going to do that. But if he can become the player that can give you 18 or 20 minutes, man, he's going to be something special. The guy can move. You can see why at some point some people thought that he was the best player in college basketball. He's got some skills. He's got good footwork. He's got easy, sweet shots to make from inside the paint. He blocks shots, got good timing.
Yeah.
This is a good basketball player, man. He
I
can
mean,
make a huge difference.
They would only need him for 7 games, though.
Correct.
And whoever comes out of the
final.
West.
And then
Because he's not touching the floor tonight.
No.
Unless once the Heat, are down by 25 with 3 minutes left, he'll come out. But
Right. This is not the kind of game you'd use him in.
Kevin Durant is on fire.
he just hit
He's
back-to-back
on fire.
threes.
Oh, he hit a 2, a 3, and a 2.
Kevin Durant, people, I said in off air, people are saying if he wins this game and he scores 30 points against LeBron and plays great, just like he didn't made LeBron miss. That was just a bad shot. But he could win the MVP in this game.
I think so.
People say it, and people are choosing.
But if he wins this game and breaks his ankle on the last play,
well, barring injury, I think is with the argument.
Okay.
But if he keeps he's been on fire just like LeBron James went on that streak, Alan. Remember when all the stats, he went on like a game of 30 above 50%.
Yeah, the statgasm.
Yeah, that Durant's on that.
Yeah, and the whole thing that we've spent 3 years now beholding LeBron's greatness. Writers always want to move to something else. There's a lot of talk of Barkley's MVP. It's the same thing as what Durant will get this year.
Yeah, like when they gave it to Little Weiner in Chicago.
Yeah,
Right.
That was another one. Rose got it because they didn't want to give it to LeBron.
Yeah, and John Stockton won too when they got tired of giving it to Mike. That shit happens, man. Forget it. Is that gonna change your opinion? Is Kevin Durant a better basketball player than LeBron James?
I think he's playing better.
Is he a better basketball player than LeBron James?
All around, no.
He's
Well,
absolutely
no.
not.
LeBron James is the best player.
He's a better scorer.
Okay, he's a better scorer, but he's not a better player.
No.
I don't even know if he's a better scorer. I think
No,
he's a
he
better
is.
shooter.
He
a
is
better shooter.
No,
He's a
he
better
is because
shooter.
he's a better shooter. That's
He
what
is.
puts him over the top.
Yeah, because in the post, I think LeBron is better. Getting to the rim, I think LeBron is better.
Well,
Yeah,
the Slim
Passing,
Reaper, the Slim Reaper doesn't go to the post.
Or drive much.
so I
to the
think
rim.
he's a better shooter. Sure, he's a freak of nature.
Right. So at the after all, you can say all you want. You can give all the MVPs to everybody and decide you don't want to give LeBron another one. For the next 3 or 4 years, he's the best player in the NBA.
Right.
Regardless.
What do you guys make of the Carmelo run? Carmelo is now he scored 62 points that one game,
That one game, yeah.
and then now New York wants to keep him. When the day before, get rid of his ass, trade him. They were saying to trade him.
That's not knee jerk, is it?
It's New York.
No, well,
I remember-
which is knee jerk by definition.
Someone on ESPN radio was talking that New York Knicks fans, because they've been starved for 40 years and had 10 years of irrelevance, they are the most clingy fan group in all of basketball. That whatever it is that could have gone right, they just jump on it, and it's Melo putting people on his back. Everybody's on his back.
He's got those
He just stay
commercials.
in New York. Stay in New York.
Yeah.
Dude, how long did it take for them to make that, what's his name, Ming Lee or whatever? What's his name, man? Help me here.
Jeremy Lee?
Jeremy Lee.
Jeremy Lin.
Ling, exactly. How long did it take to make Jeremy Ling the...
No, Lin with an N. No
Michael
G.
Jordan.
No G.
Yeah. He was. They were
Best-
wearing jerseys and
that
selling
Lin guy, best Asian player, NBA. Best Asian player. That's right. Chinatown.
All they're
Chinatown.
doing is
He's from
reaching-
Taiwan, but Chinatown.
reaching out for somebody that can play. Melo can play. He's a very good scorer. It was an anomaly what he did. The 23 out of 35 shots. He's never had a streak like that. He's never had a streak like that. Normally to score 60, he'd take him 55 shots.
Right.
So he had a game. He can score. We all know that.
I seen some of the game when
How many
scored
how many
for
assists did he have in
62.
the game?
I don't know.
Zero.
Zero assists. How many rebounds? How many rebounds did he have?
3.
2. Both defensive. Okay.
That's about right. That sounds about right.
They were up 18 and 20. He was still jacking up threes.
right.
It's easy to shoot. It's not easy to shoot. It's easier to shoot when it really doesn't matter if you miss. Because so what? You're winning by 18. Who gives a damn? And you're mellow.
There's been so many guys like
Yeah,
Carmelo.
George Gervin was one of them. I mean, you can rattle off 30 different guys.
Yeah.
Vinny Johnson used to come off the bench for Detroit and hit 35 in a quarter.
The microwave.
The microwave. Come on, man. I mean,
For real.
Kelly Torpuca used to play for them.
Yeah,
Wait,
yeah.
was actually a pro named the Microwave?
Yeah.
That's what my high school coach used to call me.
Vinny Johnson. But
Why?
for a different reason, right?
No,
Because
the exact same reason. Just show up, drop 10 points.
Oh, okay.
You forget I wasn't fat back then.
I thought
I know. It's hard for you guys to remember. You never met me.
I
got
got
it.
seen pictures.
Yeah.
Hey, I did not say anything,
That's
Alan.
such an
Okay, I thought it, but I didn't say it.
That's worse.
That's fine. That's fine. You're disingenuous. You moved to the top of my hit list when I come on a homicidal rampage.
Please, it's Carlos. Carlos.
I didn't even.
Carlos.
I didn't even say it. It just came out.
The East,
Carlos.
the East is pretty much locked up with Indiana and the Heat. I think Brooklyn is trying to make a push to be third or fourth with Atlanta. Atlanta's good.
Brooklyn's going to finish 6th or 7th, just and that's all there is to it. They're not that good either. Atlanta will finish 3rd.
Right. Did you see the end of that Brooklyn Toronto game? Brooklyn was up 103-102, and then Darren Williams goes to pass it in. They were up. All they had to do was get him foul, free throws, that whole
It's
bit.
over.
He turns the ball over. They make the shot. Game over. Toronto scored, and that's Jason Kidd right there.
Yeah.
That's your boy, Jason Kidd, Alan.
Why is he my boy?
I don't know.
Just gave them to you.
I know. What the hell's that?
You don't want Jason Kidd?
No, he
No.
doesn't.
I think I'm a better coach than Jason Kidd. And I didn't get out of JV level coaching.
You're not gonna do the cup trick on the shirt?
No. I'm actually going to coach my team.
The West is looking pretty interesting. San Antonio's there. Kevin Durant is on a mission without Russell Westbrook. The Clippers are winning without Chris Paul. What were you guys saying about Chris Paul as soon as I walked in?
That he's always hurt. He's always missing. He's always missing. Chalmers is always playing. He's always hurt.
Make the case. Make the argument.
Chalmers wins championships. How many does Chris have?
None.
None. If it's about the ring, right, Charles Barkley? It's about the ring.
Yes, it is.
How many rings does Chalmers have? 2? Going for 3?
Yeah.
Maybe a 4th one if he stays? Or a 5th one? Come on, man.
Or a 6th one.
How do you compare?
So what's the argument? You're saying that he's better than Chris Paul?
My argument is he's as valuable as Chris Paul is to his team.
I might throw up all this.
That sounds so crazy.
Again, what is the Clippers' record since Chris
crazy.
Paul's been hurt? What is the Clippers' record since Chris Paul's been hurt? And when Mario was out 2 games, they lost them both.
They lost 2
You're
games.
right, because when Chris Paul goes out, they have Jamal Crawford's badass.
Okay.
When
That-
Mario
which-
goes out,
okay.
we have Norris Cole, who, by the way, also has 2 championships. So why isn't he in your argument?
Oh, he will be
He
next
will be
year.
when he's a free agent.
Exactly.
It doesn't. So Robert Horry is the greatest player
Got
ever.
7 or 8.
Second best player. Remember the whole
Oh, yeah,
argument with
yeah.
Bill Russell.
Right.
So Robert knew how. Big shot Robert Horry is what they used to call
Big
him.
shot Bob is what they call
Yeah,
him.
he could shoot him from anywhere, baby.
He can shoot a 3.
That doesn't make sense, though, man.
Now, again,
Come
Robert
on, man.
Robert was a 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th man off a bench. You're talking about a starting point guard, high quality, who's developed his game and knows how to generate a team.
Alan, what are you looking at? This is your guy. This is Bobito. This is Chalmers.
Yeah, but that's over. That's
I'm
gone.
I'm ignoring his foolishness.
He's not been able to say that since the early part of last year.
Well, let's be honest. All right, there's a couple things going on here. One, I work at night. Hard to watch games. 2, this is year 4, the regular season. I've lost a lot of interest here. I'm not going to watch night to night with any panic. And 3, am I on point 3? I got
Yeah.
lost on that one.
Good guy.
Point 3.
A year.
That's right. I became a George.
A year.
I became a George.
A year.
All right. He's had 4 years of people yelling at him like he's some scalded.
And
bitch.
there's another thing. I'm glad you brought that up. How many people can take that and turn it into constructive criticism and
Right.
build
No,
themselves?
It's not.
No,
It's
it's
not.
not
That's not him
constructive.
taking
There's
constructive
nothing
criticism.
constructive. He looks
Yeah.
at him like, that's right. You're yelling at me because I'm the best.
That's right. I'm
No,
telling
he
you,
just
man,
tunes it out.
That
All
guy's-
he hears is Chalmers.
That guy's gonna. I'm telling you today, he'll be $9 million plus a year next year. And if the Heat want him, they're gonna have to pay him. If not, he's gonna go win championship somewhere else. He's gonna
And
go
he
to-
will win.
He's gonna go to the West and run a team over there into a championship. Then they're gonna say, oh well, he's with Kevin Durant. Of course he's gonna win. Or he's with Kobe. Of course he's gonna win. Well, you know what? Maybe some point in time they're gonna have to give that man some credit.
This is what Chalmers hears whenever he hears LeBron James. This is LeBron James. Chalmers, you're bad. Pass me the ball. I need to score. This is what Chalmers hears. Chalmers, you're bad. Score. That's what he hears.
I think the latter's
True or not true?
I think the latter's much more accurate.
I think you're being too nice about it.
I think that's what he hears. I think
No,
he-
it's absolutely.
selective hearing.
It's not. Yeah. Everything he gets yelled at is right. Pat me on the back. Pay attention to me.
The rumor that Carmelo Anthony's going to Chicago is one that's funny as well. Anywhere that Carmelo goes is just not a good fit, right? Isn't he Allen Iverson where he won't fit anywhere unless he's the guy?
Yeah, because he doesn't do any other support activities. Like LeBron can go anywhere, he passes. Wade plays defense. Bosh he stretches the floor for everyone else. What does Melo do?
You know what? That is.
Or
Think about it a little bit before you poo-poo the idea. That can actually work.
Well, more so than the Lakers idea, because that one.
By
Horrible.
definition, and if you watch Derrick Rose's game, Derrick Rose is a distributor, and he likes to distribute the ball.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, he does, and he runs the floor well.
He
And
runs.
He runs the floor well, unless he's blowing out a knee in the process. But he
Damn
runs,
it, he beat me to the joke.
he runs the floor well, and he's not a shooter. He's a scorer. He can dribble penetrate.
He's a score first guy. He's not a pass first guy.
No, he's not a pass first guy, but he does pass the basketball, and he can pass the basketball. And I think if you had a prolific scorer like Melo, he'd become that dribble penetrator, kick out guy, and still hit his 18 to 20 a game, and Melo would get his 25 a game. I think that of all the other scenarios that I've heard, the Kobe scenario or the going here, going there, that's the scenario that I think if it actually got pulled off, that could be a threatening scenario.
If you're going into it, though, look at the coach. Tom Thibodeau is a man that'll play you till you're dead. You know, Nate Robinson's throwing up in the sidelines. This guy had plantar fasciitis. He'll run you down. And Carmelo doesn't play that game.
not only that, he doesn't play defense, and you got to play defense for that coach.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen other coaches sell their souls for a guy they think that they can rehabilitate. I can make him play defense, and if I can make Melo play a little bit of defense in a team concept, then I got myself a player.
But then that's two liabilities on defense because you're trading Luol Deng's defense, which is pretty good.
He's just gone already.
Right. I'm just saying if you add him to the team with Derrick Rose, now that's two guys that don't play very good defense because Derrick Rose doesn't play any defense either.
Right. Well, I think all this is completely mute because I think that the decision's already been made that he's staying in New York. His wife made that decision. She came out to the press and she says she loves New York. They're not going anywhere. So he's got no leverage now at all. They were going to max him out anyway. But at least with leverage, hey, you got to bring me somebody in here to play with me. That leverage is gone because his wife already said, we ain't going anywhere.
Does he deserve max money?
Well, he's going to, yeah.
Yeah.
Look at the players in the league that are making max money. He absolutely deserves max money.
Him or Joe Johnson? You pick.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
You can play that game, and he'll end up winning a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Does Dwayne Wade deserve max money?
No.
Not anymore, no.
Is he going to get max money?
No.
I don't
think they're getting max money now.
No, they're not. They're not getting max money
None of them
now,
are getting max
I
money.
could see them sticking with that model.
Right.
And would it surprise you if Wade takes years over max money? Like lowers the money even more per year to get more of a guaranteed year?
Yeah,
setup?
I think he wants to. I think he wants to play another 3 years. I think he'll sign to play another 3 years.
I feel like Dwayne Wade's going to opt in.
Yeah, that's another one. He's the most likely one.
Yeah,
Because
of course,
he's not getting that.
obviously.
Yeah, he's not getting that money elsewhere on the market.
Mm-mm.
The other two can.
Mhm.
No, and he's not going to leave Miami. Not at this stage in his career.
No, but I mean by opt-in, he's just going to do the 1 year and then be a free agent again next year and re-sign, whatever. But
I think that all depends on his health and how he feels. I think if you see him do a 1 year thing, then I think he's feeling pretty good.
yeah. Well, Miami's getting crushed right now. I don't know. It brings me down a little bit, but you know what I'm going to go to? I'm going to go to a segment of mine, and then I'll end my stuff, and then I really want to get into your guys in the next segment. And then we have a special guest in 7 minutes. So
We're going to take a break?
we're going to go to break after this clip. After this clip, I want you guys to hear the clip. This is a clip. It's a story that I said that I've only told once, and it was on this show. It was very cathartic. I've never said it before. And it's one of my most embarrassing moments.
Is it like the Rick Sanchez story I told you about?
Oh, man.
Oh, okay.
It's one of my most embarrassing moments as an athlete. So without further ado, this is my softball segment.
Let's hear it.
I'm playing in the church softball league with my friend Henry. It's the first time. I had one practice with them, and then they had the game a few days later. During practice, I'm hitting the ball. I'm like, man, I haven't played baseball in like 8 years. I'm doing pretty good. I remember how to do this. I'm sitting on the bench the first 3 innings, because you have to rotate everybody. Then I want to say inning 3 or 4 out of 7. They put me in, and they put me in at right field. Okay? And I'm like,
So they thought you were not very good.
well, I
Yeah.
mean, it was my first time out there.
That's the badge of
Go ahead.
suck. Go to right field.
It was my first time out there. Yeah, whatever. They don't know me. So I'm like, all right, I got this. It's all right. Ball gets hit my way. I run up. Oh, shit, it's behind me. And I run back. And it passed over me. So I throw the ball in. Whatever. The 2-run scoring. We're down by 4 or 5. I'm sweating now because it's 2 batters before me, and then I have to hit. So I'm sweating. I'm like, God, man, I made a mistake in front of everybody. I'm super self-conscious. It's a church league, and the people on the other league are talking shit. Yeah, you pussy, you suck. I'm like, God, Lee, it's like
Motherfucker.
It's like
I kind of want to know what church you were
piece
being.
of shit.
It was like Coral Reef Presbyterian, and the pastor's like, "What a pussy!" so I'm getting up to bat, right, and I'm nervous. I'm swinging. My hands are all wet inside the gloves, and then I remember going up to hit, and I miss whoosh, in a slow pitch.
Swing and a miss and slow pitch. Wow.
I completely neck up, just swing with. I open my eyes because I swung with my eyes closed. I see everyone going, oh, like they saw a car accident. Oh, and then
Well, you do know that happens like once a season, once every 2 seasons.
right. So then I'm getting even more nervous and more self-conscious because I swung and I missed after. So I hit as hard as I can. It's like a little dribbler to the shortstop. Okay. I go out into the outfield again. I'm like, don't hit the ball my way. Don't hit the ball my way.
First thing
The whole time. No. Thank God, no ball gets hit my way. Okay. No action happens after that. Then we're down by 7 in the last inning, and we start making a run. Okay. We start making a run, and we start coming up. Right. Oh yeah. Home run. Guy runs a triple. Yeah. Awesome. So we're down by 1. With 1 out left, and I'm on the on-deck circle.
Oh, God.
And you're hoping.
Okay.
Oh, God.
Somehow make a triple play or something, even though there's only one person on the field.
There's one guy on the field. The tying run is on second base. I'm on the on-deck circle. There's a guy in front of me. The guy in front of me has autism. He was autistic, and I'm praying to God, let this guy strike out. I do not want to be the last out. I want this autistic kid to take all the blame. I don't want it. I'm there standing.
I'm going to be the first one there yelling at him.
Son.
You suck, you autistic bastard.
Wait a minute. Why couldn't you have just cheered for the overly great story of autistic kid wins the game?
No,
Why are
man.
you cheering for him to just
Because
crash and burn?
he knows that there's zero chance that the autistic little tard is going to hit a home run and both runs come in.
Seriously.
That's not happening.
Seriously.
The best case scenario is that the little tard
funny,
gets on
man.
base and he's got to bring in the winning run
And
or
that is
lose it.
funny.
You know what was even worse? Both of us, it was our first time there, and the autistic kid went like 3 for 4. he was killing it.
And did not make an error to commit for 4
He was
runs.
killing it,
Oh my
and
God.
I'm
So what
down,
happened?
so I'm like praying to God at a church league, please let this autistic kid get the last out. I don't want to get it. He gets hit. It's like a line drive to third base, and it's like a 1-hop, and the guy throws him out, and everyone's like, oh, and I'm like,
Yeah! Good job.
yes. I'm like, God damn
That
it.
retard
That was
sucks.
awesome.
You suck! You
That
tard!
freaking
You
retard
suck!
sucks. Oh,
God,
my
man.
God. I
So-
cannot tell you my story after that. That's too funny, bro.
After that, I never got invited back.
Of course you were rooting against a poor retarded kid, man.
I never asked to go back there.
Can you
Like, the
imagine
whole
you choosing team? Okay, we got 2 left. Chris and the retard. Which one you want? I'll take the retard.
Oh
Yep.
man, that was as the story was going. I didn't remember the story,
Nor did I.
but I was thinking words and lines that were going to be coming up, and they were actually those same things coming up.
As
That was good.
we were listening, you guys are reacting the same way as you said in
Exactly,
the show.
exactly. It was. That was funny. That was good.
Ah, man, I'm sweating. So we're gonna go to break.
Dale.
We'll come back. Carlos, Papa, you're up next.
Now I'm on next.
Look inside your tiny mind, then look a bit harder. 'Cause we're so uninspired, so sick and tired of all the hatred you harbor. So you say it's not okay to be
Welcome back to the
gay, I
Sports
think
Table.
you're just evil.
This song has been on the show
You're just some
3
racist,
times.
you can't tie
The
my
most times we've had a song.
Your point of view is medieval.
Yeah.
Carlos, this is your song.
Yes, it is. It's the most times any song we play on the show.
This, of course, is the song dedicated to Jeff Ireland.
Yes, it is.
This is Carlos' love ballad.
That's Jeffrey's song.
Welcome back to the Sports Table. He's got the lighter on his phone. This song gives you so much joy.
It does. It really makes me happy. It does. It really does.
Just because he's gone, right? Mission accomplished.
It's the meaning. It's the meaning of the song. How deep it is.
All right. We have a special guest on the line now. We have several guests that join us every so often. This one guy, he comes on and he always has a particular view on things that is comical to us. You guys want to take a guess at who it is?
The guy from New York?
No. He's our favorite correspondent. He has all our laws.
Oh my God, we have Mike Louie Lubitz.
Lubitz is on the line with us
Awesome.
on the year anniversary of the Sports Table.
I don't know if you understand what
Hey.
kind of an honor that is, Lubie.
What do you mean? I feel honored. First of all, the fact that you had to lead him into that, so I'm really not number one because you had actually basically, it wasn't even LeBron and Wade. It was basically an open court dunk for LeBron, and he made the dunk. But I mean, let's be real here. I'm not that. I'm a producer. I know when you're Defo. That's okay. I will take it. I'm on the year anniversary, and I appreciate you guys doing what you do for Defo Radio. You add a different spice and flavor to us in many fashions, and I appreciate joining you guys live from New York.
I'm glad you're here, especially live from New York. That's pretty cool.
He's on Radio Row, and that's got to be a spectacle. This is what, your fourth time doing this?
Yes, sir. And Chris gets to see all the fun.
Yeah, it sucks.
It's the funniest thing. Everyone thinks I work. And I actually, okay, here's the deal. There's a bunch of pictures up already in 941's Facebook.
Shameless plug.
To my Facebook as well.
Shameless plug.
People think it's fun, and it is. It's different. It's a lot of work. I actually work harder there than I ever do at the station or whenever I'm hosting. Chris might have worked harder than any of us, honestly.
He's shaking his head no.
Cake. Well, usually it's cake. Usually you're sitting back there, you're just putting stuff on air, you're getting stuff, whatever, hitting start, hitting stop. Well, we couldn't connect the last 2 days. Then on top of that, we're doing a lot of things because at the time of our show, I'll peel back the curtain, but we're recording a lot of things. And the form I'm sending Chris, the recordings, is coming out overmodulated and slow motion and backwards and in Hebrew and in Spanish. So we're not on El Sol or Mega.
Right.
So when you're in Spanish, people really don't like that. And Chris is actually having to change the hieroglyphics and turn it into English and the right speed. So as much as we're working here in New York, Chris, I got to give him a lot of credit, busting his ass back there.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you still having me on the show after I put you through that freaking hell today.
Well, that's the only reason why you agreed to come on the show is because I busted my ass this morning and I had to do it. Because if not, you'd be like, nah, I'm busy. I can't do it.
This is basically a pity guest.
Which is all the guests. Every time he comes on, it's the same way.
I wouldn't say totally pity guest, but I mean.
Lubitz, the first time
you guys' show is great, man. I have a blast doing it every time, and anytime you guys want me, I'm down.
Thank you.
The first time we had you on the show, it was the Heat. It was after Game 7, after they had won. This next time we started doing the Lubie Laws. You're in New York right now. Just sort of describe what it's like to be in 20-degree temperature for being, a 4'5" Jew from Miami.
First of all, are they saying it's 20 because they're lying? Well, I'm They're fucking lying to you. It's not 20. It's like negative 15. This is ridiculous.
Oh, my God.
I did the lube tube today on it, and I wasn't – lube tubes are never contrived. Defo's been ranting about it. I sort of think it's, on air sick. But, no, it's a nice change of pace for like a day. To have people come up here for a week to do it? Are you kidding? I'm looking right now, and it's something that's supposed to be a park. You can't tell because it's covered in white stuff, and really not sure what the white stuff is, but they're telling me it's snow. And I'm looking at what's supposed to be water, but it's hard. Where I come from, water isn't hard. Water is liquid. And the people skating on it, which isn't supposed to happen. So I don't know. Listen, it's fun to visit for like 2 or 3 days.
Right.
But to have the Super Bowl here is utterly ridiculous. You can't get anywhere. You can't put it this way. New Yorkers are like, wow, this is cold.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. My wife's cousin was in town, and he lives there in Manhattan, and he was telling us It's damn right cold. He's glad he wasn't there this week.
Oh God, it's bad. Supposedly it's supposed to warm up. And it's funny. They're like, it's going to warm up. It's going to be 22. I'm like, wait, what?
There is
warming up. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you people? Why do you still live here? Why is there a state still? Like, I would be running to. You're not even Florida. Go to Atlanta. Well, actually, Atlanta's having supposedly massive snow. You have to go to Florida. Honestly, we're the one part of the. They keep showing that map where the country is blue. The Florida they show
Sun.
in bikinis and driving down Sunset Drive. It's like, come on.
So
like,
is it safe to assume there'll be no Luby Snow Angel?
Snow Angel? Oh, God. You probably will. We're at dinner right now, and Defoe has been known to drink a libation or two, so I might be doing Snow Angels later. We'll make that the next Lube Tube Snow Angel.
Yeah.
There will be clothes on, I promise. We will be clothed.
That's good.
this is
I don't know. This thing is utterly, listen, it's cool, and it's different to have snow, and it's something new. I admit that. But I'm sorry, Roger. You totally screwed this one up, and it's so funny that the Super Bowl will happen, but it won't be what it should be. And this week has been a mess. People working, people playing, whatever. Miami is the best. Like, you can't beat it. It's a big-ass area. There's beaches. There's everything. And instead you're going to be here, people freezing their ass off.
right.
I'm sorry, man. I think he dropped the ball literally on that one.
This is the fourth time you're doing this, and for people that don't understand what you do, Defoe's on air and you join in every so often, but you're out there booking guests. You're hustling.
Yes.
You're a hustler.
Yes.
Give us the story of the time where you sort of explained who you are and you were trying to get a guest and they either said no, they don't know who you are, or they gave you the lamest excuse. What was the greatest turn down for an interview?
The greatest turndowns are not the ones where they say no, because your first year you realize that happens a lot. I mean, there's show Sims. Dan Marino is saying hi to Defoe. He knows Defoe. We've hung out with Dan Marino. His son does stuff where we do our show every Wednesday, the Marvin Jones Show. His son's a DJ, and he can't come on because he's booked. So that's not really like the turndowns. If I want to do great turndowns, you get a lot more turndowns than exceptions, than acceptance. The worst ones to me are the ones where they book you, they tell you you're in, and then when you go to them, you're like, all right, we're ready for Dana White. They're like, who? I'm like, Dana White, 940 Wins, Defoe Radio, Dana White, the guy that I talked to twice about that is here, booked. Oh, no, we don't have you. And Defoe's waiting for him, and he was on the air saying, we're waiting for Dana White. Yes, that happened to me. It wasn't that bad, but, like, that's the worst to me. Like, when you were supposed to have a guest, and the thing with Defoe, he sucks is because he's not a jerk. Like, in this bracket, you'll meet a lot of people that are jerk-offs. I may be one of them, but Defoe...
Definitely one of them.
Thank you, Chris. Defoe isn't a jerk, but the problem with Defoe is he mentions everything on air, like, especially with me, because now it's been 4 years. It's a running joke of how can I mess it up? So whatever happens, even if it's not my fault, like today with the stuff we had behind the scenes, he still blames me, and I have nothing to do with it. So he'll blame me on air. So it is embarrassing as hell. So my worst, turn down is actually the acceptance. It's like, okay, you ask a girl out, you actually go buy clothes, which guys rarely do. You get excited, you clean your car, you're ready to go out with this chick. You're ready to go out with this chick, and then you call her, and she's like, who is this? That's what this is, and it's the worst.
Hey, have you ever been over to the Garden? Have you been in the Garden, and will you be there Saturday to watch the Heat?
To Penn Station, which is underneath the Garden. I have yet to be in a game.
Are you going to see
I want to go so bad.
The Heat Saturday night.
I know.
Go and scalp yourself some tickets, man. Use Defoe's clout to get your tickets.
Defoe's clout. What do you mean? That'll get me thrown out. What are you talking about? Jack Tyson.
Try not to breathe in the asbestos.
Yeah, exactly. All right, what are some more rules? I'm sitting here at dinner.
Yeah.
I'm making time for the year anniversary.
God, man. Super Bowl is this Sunday. Sort of lay down the laws of what it takes to host a proper Super Bowl party.
Okay. Defoe has the B's. I don't know if I'm that organized to have letters or numbers. I would say you need beer lick. You gotta have beer, actually. It's a football game. It's Super Bowl. You gotta have beer. You gotta have barbecue. I don't need a bookie. Defoe doesn't need a bookie. I'm not a...
Oh, that's his other B? Yeah.
I don't need a bookie, but I need the beer. You need the barbecue, and you need your woman to leave you alone. Those are my rules. It's the 2 needs and the 2 hopes. So you need the beer, you need the barbecue, and you need to be totally left alone. That is the best party for me. I could be in my house. I don't give a damn. As long as my fiance leaves me alone and I can have a beer and I can have like some steak or some grits.
And what is the absolute thing that cannot happen at your Super Bowl party that you will not allow? You would actually consider throwing somebody out if this occurred.
Oh, geez, that's a good one. God. If the woman is there annoying you. That'll be the worst part. Hi, babe. I love you. But, yeah, honestly, that's the one I hate that. Like, I've always had buddies that have had those girls that are annoying, naggy girls, and I'm like, sweetheart, it's a freaking Super Bowl. Like, I understand you're sick of it by now. It's been 3 months. But it's a Super Bowl. Like, come on. Leave the dude alone. That's the worst thing. I don't care about – you cannot have the beer. I'll survive. You cannot even have the barbecue as much as I am known for food. The naggy girlfriend, wife, fiance, or even friend during a game is the worst. That's the worst thing to me ever.
All right, I have a few annoyances, and I know you got to go. I have a few annoyances, and I need your help in explaining or how to deal with it, okay? Annoyance number 1, okay. I hate the person that comes to the Super Bowl party and says, oh, I'm here just for the commercials. Fuck you. Why are you here? You can watch commercials on your own damn time. You're eating my food to watch the game? No, you're there to watch commercials. What do you do with the person that's there just to watch the commercials?
I change every commercial. I've done that, yeah. I hate that person. I didn't go with that because that's like a normal sports fan thing, so I left that alone. But, yeah, I hate it. I'm like, first of all, the commercials actually suck nowadays. They're not even that good because they're so freaking expensive.
Yep. And
second, I don't care about the damn commercials. I don't watch the halftime. I missed the Janet Jackson nipple because we weren't watching it because it was freaking halftime, and who watches halftime?
Right.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
Commercials is when you change it.
What do you say to the person that's there? I want to really watch the halftime show. I guess this halftime show is who? Bruno Mars?
Bruno.
You think that Brazilian's going to be out there in the 20 degrees snow? I don't think so.
He's gonna. I think they're going to be beaming him.
What halftime show? They're going to cancel it because it's going to be a damn blizzard.
I would say there's a TV in the bedroom. Here's the clicker. That's what I would say. When I watch the name halftime, I don't care about Bruno Mars. I met the dude. The dude, you said I'm 4'5". The dude's 3'1".
Right.
I'm good. And then you can be short and talented. You can. He's not. I can't stand Bruno Mars. I have no need to watch him at halftime. It's a football game, and hopefully it's a good football game. So, yeah, I don't know. That commercial thing really annoys the hell out of me.
And the last thing for me is, how many damn Ponce de Leon hospital commercials are they going to play this Super Bowl, man? They play about 7 or 8 every year.
Yeah. They save their money all year long for that.
Buenos dias, the Leon Medical Center.
I'll leave that one alone. I didn't even notice that. You guys are more perceptive than I am.
All right. Well, Lubis, I know you got to go. We appreciate you coming on, man, briefly for our 1-year anniversary, and hopefully we'll have you more on through the next years.
Thanks, Lou.
Oh, yeah, there's going to be a lot more. Thank you, guys. Mazel tov, as the tribesmen say. Congratulations, and hopefully I'm there for year number 2.
All right, man. Thanks.
Peace.
All right, guys. Bye.
Later.
That was Mike Lubitz, Jorge, man. Appreciate you contributing.
You don't let anybody ask any other questions.
I go like this during the show.
Hell?
I point to everybody. Do you guys got something to say? You guys got something to say?
You didn't. Alan didn't say anything.
I know he didn't say anything. He said no. He said he didn't have a question.
You didn't. Oh, you pointed at.
Yeah.
You say, hey, George, you got
if you looked at him while we were doing this instead of TV.
I wasn't looking at TV. I was.
What were you looking
at?
What were you looking at?
He was
It's a hard time listening to him, to be honest with you. He sounded not very well.
Okay, this is the first clip that I have for Carlos. This is Carlos' second, okay? He's the one that started off a whole franchise of 2. We wanted to do more. Maybe we'll do more after we are inspired again. This person is no longer here, but we had a PSA based solely for him around draft time. Let's take a listen.
Hello, my name is still Carlos, and I'm here to talk to you about draftism. What is draftism? I'd like to speak to you about a non-friend of mine. Jeff not only has draftism, but he has the most severe form of draftism. Draftism stupidus, the cruelest form of the syndrome.
Well, it just takes a lot of smart people putting together a plan. There's no doubt about it. I didn't come up with this plan.
Those diagnosed with DSS have a reduced level of recognition, a lack of cognitive skills, and the lack of ability to recognize NFL talent. They are to vision, planning, and hope what Al-Qaeda is to peace, love, and happiness. DSSers, as they're referred to in the sports world, will proclaim on Hard Knocks that their team is loaded with 4, 5s, and 6s at the receiving corps. And then he trots out Bubba, the shrimp boat captain from Forrest Gump, Mr. Agnew, as the star tight end of the future.
Tremendous athlete, very fast, great kid, very smart.
Then Jeffrey is shocked when Bubba fails like Eric Kumaro or Jackie Shipp. Let me explain. DSSers look at the War Room draft board and see a kaleidoscope of letters, names, and positions. Unlike Belichick, Wolf, Polian, and Ozzie Newsome, who see players' strengths and weaknesses. DSSers see the boards through the dark prism of fellow DSSers like Spielman, Al Davis, and Matt Millen. Draftism Stupidius syndrome personified.
You know, that word keeps coming up again.
For most GMs, owners, fans, the draft is a time of optimism, hope, and excitement. Alas for Jeff, it's a time of despair, fear, and apprehension.
I never go into a draft thinking that I have to address needs.
That's where DSS takes him, into the bowels of draftism stupidious hell. Folks, this is for real. I wish I was making this up. If you have any doubt, watch Jeff's interviews, or better yet, review the Dolphins' draft history. This is a real tragic disease. It's an epidemic of monumental proportions.
You know, I really haven't put a lot of thought into it, obviously.
Damn that draftism stupidious. Unfortunately, Jeff has shown no sign of life without DSS. To the contrary, he's hell-bent on heading into the deep, dark tunnel of DSS despair, and he's taken Ross and D with him along for the ride.
I think he has the knowledge, the desire, and is smart.
So please, be part of the solution. Help Jeffrey avoid a calculated, systematic lapse into the deepest, darkest recesses of draftism stupidious syndrome 2013. This brutal, insensitive, Christmas-stealing Grinch of a disease must be eradicated. And here's how you can help. Grab a 3x5 index card and using large black block letters, write them a name of any, and I repeat, any NFL player in the draft. And mail it to Stamp Out Draftism Stupidious Syndrome. Quote, Jeff, unquote. Care of Miami Dolphins, Draft, 7500 Southwest 30th Street in Davie, Florida. Or you can log on to www.stampoutdraftismstupidiussyndrome.net. Remember, folks, your guess is as good as Jeff's.
Of course, all my draft choices are going to make it.
This has been a public service announcement brought to you by the Sports Table.
It never gets old.
Woo. And it was so relevant.
It was actually
so relevant.
Pretty much
It
on
was
point.
it was good.
We have to do more of those PSAs, man.
Yeah. I got one on New Yorkers in the pot.
Yes.
I got one on New Yorkers.
Is it gonna be another one of these diatribes that's about 8 minutes at the end?
No, I'm gonna try to make it about 2.5 minutes.
Okay.
Try to cut it down so everybody can listen to it.
I'm really hoping Ireland gets hired somewhere, so we can start flooding the market with that
With
video
this
again.
PSA.
I'll send it.
Oh my god!
after.
Like whatever, like gets hired in Cleveland.
We'll just start sending-
Cleveland radio stations start getting this video.
Just a forewarning.
It's both a public service announcement
It is.
That's
and shameless plug.
That's what it is.
Which Lubitz is the master at.
Yeah. He must have plugged what the Lubitz
4
and
times,
4 to 5 different
YouTube.
times.
Yeah, for sure, man. I can't wait to work with him tomorrow. So I wanted to talk to you, Theo Carlos, about this specifically. You're a union guy.
Yeah.
You're a union guy. You've been one for the city of Hialeah, right?
Yeah, for a long time, about 7-8 years.
The Northwestern kids, they want to form a union. They made what did they do? What did they do officially?
Well, basically what they did was they wanted to start a union, and they're using a union representative, the guy that does represents college football players. And what they did was they went to him and spoke to him in reference to trying to unionize football, but in a way where they get compensated or they're held in a position of decision making, where they have some input in what happens with them as athletes. So what happened on Monday was the entire Northwestern football team signed membership cards and joined the union in Chicago. I think it was
The Steelers one, wasn't
Yeah,
it? Or not Steelers, the Steel.
the Steelworkers Union.
Right.
And by doing that, they are no longer student athletes. They are now student employees. And that makes them an employee and puts them into the workforce. Now, obviously, the NCAA objected and said that that goes against everything that they stand for.
Northwestern did as well.
Right, the school itself did as well, right?
Yeah.
And they said that it goes against everything that college student athletes are. But if you think back, and I was looking at some of the history, I was going over this guy's history, and in the last 50 or 60 years, when they started using the term student athletes, the NCAA adopted that term because they were faced with an antitrust type of a conversation or point that stated that if the football players are strictly football players and called football players, then they are employees. If you can somehow title them differently, then you can get around the loophole. And what they did to title them differently was they went ahead and decided they were going to call them student athletes. And that's what made a big difference. That's why they're now, up to now, they've been able to keep them basically in a can.
Free labor.
That's right, free labor. And those players decided, starting with the quarterback, that they were going to start to object to this and become part of the union. Now, this is a far-fetched issue. It's going to take a long time. It's going to take 4 or 5 years to be able to get it. Ultimately, I think it will. It's going to be realized. I think the courts are going to uphold the fact that they are employees because they are providing a service and they are getting compensated for that service with a scholarship. And I think that the courts are going to uphold that, and they're going to be able to litigate it, and then they're going to be able to do more so than compensation. Even though I'm sure somewhere along the line, compensation is going to be included in this.
It's not included initially, like right now.
Right. It's not. I think the point is workplace conditions and having an input in what happens as a student employee.
They basically want to guarantee their contracts, just like Major League Baseball or the NBA, where instead of having 1-year scholarships, they want them secured. If they miss a game or they don't go to practice, their scholarships aren't dropped, and they want that secured. Is that more or less?
That's exactly what it is. They right now, remember, when you sign a scholarship, you're signing a series of 1-year contracts.
Right.
So you sign 4 or 5, depending on how long you're going to be at the school. And that can be taken away at any point in time by anybody. The coach can take it away. The administration can take it away. The athletic director can take it away for anything. They can get upset at you. They cannot like the fact that you came 15 minutes late and your scholarship's gone. They can change coaches, and he decides, I don't want this guy cut their scholarship. I want to offer him to somebody else. So you've got absolutely zero guarantees outside that 1 year that you signed for.
There's 2 sides to this story, and there's 2 points that make a lot of sense to me, and I need help from all 3 of you deciding, not what's right, but, make the arguments for both if you agree. The side of them saying that they're not employees, they get paid tuition. They get paid board and room.
They're restricted from working elsewhere.
Not restricted, prohibited.
Yeah, prohibited. They're not allowed. Like, you can't be an FIU football player and walk across the street and work at Walgreens.
No.
They wouldn't allow it.
No, but at places like SMU and other schools like that of higher notoriety, you get paid for allegedly turning on sprinklers. Those are the kind of jobs that they do get for you as part of the thing, and those only go to the high end guys.
Right.
And I think that's the problem. Ultimately, I think it comes down to compensation in the next few years. But logistically, I think that's an impossibility to happen any sooner than that. But I think they can organize state to state, and I think that's the way it's going to work. It's going to be organized state to state. About 3 years ago, and I think I texted you that, in 2011, I had a conversation with an attorney at ASME, and I was thinking about unionizing, somehow getting involved in unionizing college athletics and college athletes. And I was talking to him about starting at FIU and talking to some of the people at FIU. And I think Cristobal was there at the time. And so that's one of the things I wanted to do, try to get in there and talk to the players and see if we can, because I wouldn't be able to do it individually. I'd need the attorney, and I need ASME International, the local, the state one and the one in Washington, International, to get involved and say, yes, we're going to go ahead and push this. Now, that would have been great because ASME's big in the Southeast, and they can handle Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, that whole eastern region. And like what they're doing now with the steel mill workers. They're more in that general, Chicago area. And those.
Right.
So I think that's what, if it does end up happening, which I believe it will, even though it's going to be logistically difficult, I think you're going to have a series of multiple different unions representing players in different areas. Regionally, that's going to be the way, because there's not going to be one union representing everybody. It's not like the NFL where there's only 1,000 players or whatever it is. There's that many more division, 106 Division I schools.
Yeah.
Then you're going to have Division II schools and Division III schools, and you're going to have, so it's going to get logistically going to be a monster, which I think is going to be contained locally.
From what I understand, though, isn't it only private schools? Isn't it only private schools?
Right now, that the movement that they made, since Northwestern is a private school, once the courts uphold their position, which I think will happen in the next 6 to 9 months, they uphold it. That makes all private school athletes employees and part of the labor force, because they're going to be going before the Labor Commission.
Well, it's going to be appealed, and it's going to be appealed again.
Right. It'll be once it's appealed to once the Labor Commission makes the decision. That's the decision. It'll get appealed to the 3rd District Court of Appeals in their region, and the majority of the times, if not always, the District Court of Appeals will uphold, especially Labor Commission decisions and Labor Board decisions.
Right.
They're very, very influential and very, very strong.
The problem with that, it's well, football is great, and I think makes sense. Besides that, they got Division I, Division II, Division III. The problem with that is every athlete in school will become that way. So the hockey team will be that way. The bowling team will be that way.
Sure.
And none of them sports generate any money.
You don't need to generate money to become part of a union. What the union does is individual players will pay a union dues. Those union dues get put into the program, and that's what you use to kind of pay for your services and your legal and all the stuff that you do.
How are they going to pay for union dues if they don't have jobs?
That's going to have to be something where mom pays for it, or somehow it's part of the service that they offer to the university. The university compensates part of the contract may read the university must pay union dues for the athletes.
Yeah, it gets tied into the scholarship
right.
the same way your tuition
and it's gonna and you're
parking.
100% right. It's gonna end up with hockey, and it's gonna end up with field hockey, and it's gonna end up with lacrosse and soccer and it's gonna be an institutional union, which is why I'm telling you it's gonna be regional. It's gonna be regional.
The thing that's a big negative that I see they're not in school that long. Especially in basketball, they're in school for a year.
Right.
And then they leave. So what kind of union power would they get? How can the union help them, or how could they influence, the university of unionizing when they're in school at max 4 years?
I believe. Well, I think the 4 and 5 year max is fine, because you can develop, you can prosper financially, and you can have the issues and the perks that come along with being a union member. When you go to basketball, where they only play one or 2 years, or baseball when they play half the season and then they leave and go into a minor league program, I think that's where it gets a little dicey. But I don't think that it precludes everybody else from being part of it. It might even in the long run make these guys stay a little bit longer, because they have a little bit of security, because they have a little bit of solid footing and solid ground. So maybe they'll decide, okay, if in fact eventually it gets to a pay thing, we're getting paid a little bit. I'm not starving. I can do college another year or two. So you might be able to kick guys into staying a year or two longer. That might hurt. That might work in that favor.
The positive I'd see in this is, okay, college athletes, it's slavery. Not slavery, but you know what I mean. It's free labor.
It's indentured. It's indentured work.
They're bringing in, millions of dollars, especially the football and basketball players to the university, and they're not seeing any of it.
Correct.
And then they could do something and lose their contract, and then lose, basically everything that they've worked for.
Or blow out a knee.
Right. Or get injured, whatever. A lot of people are not for it. There's been a lot of blowback against it.
I'm not for it.
You're not for it. And you're for it, Theo.
Yeah, I'm for it, because I believe that in order to get to the point where a college student or a college athlete, because that's what they are, a college athlete has the assurances of insurance to cover them if they get hurt. They have time accumulated, or some kind of a pay scale accumulated Doesn't necessarily mean you got to get the money now or you got to get the whole bulk of the money now. Just get enough to get you through your days in college, and the rest goes into an account. Or once you graduate, all the money's been put into an account. You get
like a
percentage.
fund?
Right,
Yeah.
or everybody gets, here's your 4-year scholarship to Northwestern plus $250,000 upon graduation. That's the negotiated contract. Somebody needs to be able to negotiate a contract for these kids that's looking out for the best interest of the kids. Because right now, those agreements that they're signing on a daily basis, they're one-way streets. And I'm going to see one in a few days because Corey's going to sign on February 15th and 16th. Corey's the number 1 or number 2 receiver in the United States. He goes to St. Thomas Aquinas. He's one of our kids at camp, and he signed with the Fighting Irish. They gave him a full ride. So he's going to be signing one of those.
You didn't have any influence in that?
As far as where he's going, no. His dad is one of ours, one of us, and his dad played corner at Syracuse, played with Donovan McNabb.
Cool.
And then he played with the Dolphins for 2 years in the back.
What did he choose?
He played with Cleveland. He
Notre Dame.
He could have gone anywhere.
No, I'm sure if he was number 2 receiver.
He was signed up to go anywhere. He wanted Notre Dame or Michigan. Those sort of two. Actually, he wanted Michigan. He went to Michigan. He visited. Then he had his last visit. He left Notre Dame for his last visit, and when he went there, they just wowed him.
So he's choosing to be cold.
He's choosing to be cold, but he says the facility's there, and we're going to get to see him because we're going to go up there with him. And
that's cool
when he goes up there. So we're going to get to see those facilities. They are facilities that are state of the art. They're they're not Oregon because I don't think anybody is, but they're in that genre, in that area.
I know why the NCAA is fighting this. First of all, it's because people don't want to give up power. So initially, that's part of it. If you're saying that it might go school to school or region to region, in regards to whether they want this or not, what does the NCAA have power over then?
I don't think the NCAA. I don't think they have. They will have. I don't even think the NCAA, as we know it today, will be around in 5 years.
Well, that's my point.
Yeah.
Like they're fighting this basically for their jobs,
right?
Because if it ends up being unionized and then the contracts are now with the universities and not with the NCAA, then the union can be like, well, we'll stick to the university guidelines, but we're not going to stick to the NCAA guidelines because those rules are not what we collectively bargained with.
Right.
So essentially, the NCAA will be eradicated, or someone said re-eradicated one time.
They will be irrelevant, is what they will be. They may stay around as a name, as a title, as a mouthpiece.
Yeah.
But they'll have zero enforcement powers because, like you said, my agreement is going to be with the student athlete, the union, and the university that the kid's attending.
What happens if you don't want to be a union guy? If you're a student, Alan, if you're playing college basketball and you don't want to be in the union,
I mean, you end up having to take what would be the equivalent of what, non-union jobs?
Well, it depends on what state. Depends on what state you're in.
It depends.
Florida, for its sake, is a right-to-work state. You do not have to belong to a union. You cannot be forced to belong to a union, and you will get everything that a union member gets if you're in the same workforce.
Right.
Other states, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, those are unionized states. You must be part of the union. If you're a longshoreman and you go work in a port, you will be a longshoreman. You don't have an option, or you don't get the job. That's part of the requirement.
So if you're an athlete then and you're in a non-forced, like you don't have to be forced to be a union in that state.
In Florida here.
You're fine.
Or in Florida.
But in the other states.
But then you won't get the same benefits.
Yeah, you will.
Oh, you will get the
well,
same
no,
benefits.
yeah, it's saying that Florida lets you have the same benefits, but in other states, you wouldn't be able to be part of the universities if you're not in the union.
Right. Here in Florida, when I negotiated contracts, I would negotiate contracts. We'd go upstairs, sit there with the mayor, negotiate a contract, and he would actually look at me and say, and he did it many, many times, he said, you don't have any power. You don't have control over your own people because you've got 115 members and we have 1,012 employees. I've got more on my side than you do on yours. And they know that they're going to get. And I couldn't force my people because legally I couldn't. And they would turn around and say, Carlos, why do I have to pay the $37.50 a month in union dues when I'm going to get the same results that the guy's paying and I'm not paying? Because if I negotiate a contract that gives everybody a 3% raise and you get 15 the sick days and you get all these different things, John that pays his union due gets it. Manny that doesn't pay union dues, guess what? He gets it too. He gets it too. So that was a really difficult time that's a real difficult part of trying to maintain a functioning and financially stable union here in this state.
Yeah.
But in other states, you don't have options, man. You have to be part of the union to be part of certain workforce.
Yeah, but I think the most of the states are right to work.
Yeah, I would probably say about 65% of the states are right to work.
Northeast, basically. It's the Northeast and the Midwest, or Northern Midwest that are hardcore union.
Hardcore union teams, yeah. Yeah, the union presence has done, but it's still 45% of the workforce.
Okay, so explain this to me. The way I understand it, in regular, capitalism, unions are bad. The way people explain it to me, that they charge and they force, and people don't work as hard as they a person that's in a non-union work. In my economics classes, they say the same thing. Jorge, you're against the union. Why?
Well, the problem with the union, the union was created for the workers.
Right.
So as a business owner, obviously I'm not with it. But the problem with the unions in the U.S. is that they driven complete industries out of work and out of being relevant. The auto, it's an example. There's got to be a limit to what you got to. The money you earn is directly related to the money you make for the company you're working for, and a lot of times in unions, the worker puts 4 bolts on a car seat, makes $35 an hour, $40 an hour. It's just you're not going to sell a car
plus medical plus
dental. No, the package is like $80 an hour.
Yeah.
So, and that's what happens. It's the way it is.
So walk down that line. If it ends up being, it passes through. It's years, like you said, but let's just say it passes through. Tuition goes up. The cost of tickets to the games go up. Is all that a result of unionizing?
I don't think so. I think it can work in the complete opposite. I think it can make things much more affordable. What's happening is there's got to be a downsizing of what's out there right now. There are so many programs, so many sports, so much travel. I mean, when who played in the Orange Bowl game? And I went to the game.
Big East team.
Clemson?
Yeah, Clemson played against somebody, whatever. The Clemson band, I counted, basically rough counted, they had 500 band members between band and dance members.
Jeez, man.
They brought everybody down. That's paid for by the schools. And that was paid for because they made $9 million in the bowl game, but then that $9 million gets split up between all the people in the conference.
The other programs.
Exactly. And now the programs that don't make the money are being benefited from it. But why do you need to bring 500 band members? So I think there's room for it all, and I think George made a great point. As long as you're productive and you're making the money for your program will be able to sustain it.
If that's the case, then there's only two sports in certain schools that could ever be allowed to be unionized.
That's the problem. That's the problem right there.
Yeah, it's the only two sports that can make money
in certain schools. Because the University of Miami basketball team doesn't make any money
at all. The football team doesn't make any money.
Right.
They don't. And it's embarrassing to say, but they don't. Ultimately, what's going to happen, I think, is you'll see that kind of unionization. You'll see that the athletes getting into it. There'll be union dues that'll be paid, whether they're negotiated into the contract by the university or they're paid by the student, or it's taken out of the student's dollar amount that they get upon graduation, or if they're getting paid, they're paying for it. Something like that's going to happen. There are too many people working for nothing, and I say for nothing. They're getting $100,000 education at least, but in essence, they're working for nothing. When they walk into the bookstore and they see their jersey being sold for $115, they ain't getting a penny of that dollar. And that number is represented with them.
Thinking out loud, can you imagine if Jason gets a scholarship or Anthony gets a scholarship, and not only are they getting recruits from coaches and scouts and, players from the teams, now they're going to get union recruits.
Yeah.
There's going to be union members going to your houses saying, hey, listen, come to this school. We have
or come to this state. The benefits are better in Pennsylvania than they are in California.
Yeah, right. I was going to ask that next. What if the conferences start using individual unions, and then that becomes part of the recruiting?
It could. I mean,
the SEC's conference is restrictive, but the ACC's got better stuff because Duke has money, and
The contracts are probably not going to be the same because they're going to probably be relative to where you're at and to what school you're going to and to what kind of money and possibilities exist within that conference or within that school. And it might not even be a contract with a particular school anymore. If we think outside the box a little bit, it could be conference, union representing a conference or a conference being represented by a union now. And the school's out of it. We're dealing with the conference. The conference has their negotiating team. The team, the athletes have their negotiating team, and those two teams sit down and negotiate in the best interest of that particular conference. That conference, the Big East Conference, is not going to have the same numbers or the same benefits that the Big 12 is going to have.
If it's making things a lot complicated.
Logistically, it's going to be complicated.
I don't think it's going to happen.
That hurts. That possibility of different setups for different conferences, that hurts a lot because, I mean, you could start really dividing who goes where talent-wise, and the chance for player X from, Miami looking at the options and saying no to a bunch of schools simply because they're union.
Oh, you can see super conferences.
Yeah.
You can see super and I disagree with you, George. If in fact this gets in front of the Labor Board and the Labor Commission, there's no way that a Labor Board or Labor Commission is going to say that these guys are not employees. They're going to say that they're part of the labor force because there is money being exchanged, even though it's not currency, it's the value of a scholarship for your service, and they're going to find that the value of your scholarship for your service is not relevant to the money that you're making for the school.
Right.
If my being on the field as an 80-member team is generating $16 million a year, and you're giving me a $75 or $85 or $100,000 education, those numbers don't equate.
The thing that gets to me a little bit also is, let's say you collectively bargain for, if it's possible, you collectively bargain with the conference or outside of the university. Where do the academics come in? Does the player have to maintain a certain GPA in order to play? I've already collectively bargained that I'm playing this amount of hours in practice, and that shouldn't equate to what I make in the school. Because I'm no longer a student athlete now. I'm an employee.
But as an employee, I had limited number of sick days. I had limited number of vacation days. I had limited number of all these things had a cap to it. You have a cap. Your grade must be this in order to be able to participate and stay in the union.
Yeah.
If you don't have a C 2.1, you're.
But they're gonna make it really low.
Well, whatever. Yeah. It's always going to be a minimum. Going to be a C. It's never going to be a one average. I mean, you got to have if you have a 1.9. You got to be registered for X number of classes, and they'll wait till the next term to make you eligible.
Certain universities won't allow that. Imagine if Stanford or Notre Dame, if they have to lower their standards because they're being unionized,
or maybe they
compared to the other students.
Well, right now, Miami, Notre Dame, Stanford, Duke, Cal, they all suffer for that high entrance limitations they have, those high expectations for these students. So maybe they don't move that. Maybe they become a collective group, those elite schools that have, and maybe that's the way they do it. I mean, there are so many avenues.
What happens if the university says, you know what, I'm going to drop football?
Mm-hmm. Drop football, and then you'll be closing university doors like that.
You think so?
Oh, there's no question about it. There's no question. Even FIU. Even FIU is built. The buildings that they've built, those new buildings they've built them on the back of that football program. Even FIU has built it on the back of the football program. Do you not realize how much money Alabama takes in with football? $40 million.
But that is the exception of the rule.
Yeah, no, it's not. You go to Michigan, you go to Alabama, you go to USC, you go to UCLA, you can go to
Oregon.
Notre Dame.
I'm sure a majority of the universities, their main income is not tuition. It's got to be athletics and TV contracts and endorsements.
Those endorsements and those contracts,
works.
those conference contracts and TV deals
and boosters.
They're hundreds of millions of dollars. Hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah, because a booster's not going to go in there, I wouldn't think, as much, to save the chemistry lab compared to the football team.
Sure, absolutely.
And that's another thing too. If I'm a student, if I'm a part of a research lab at a university and we're doing research and the university is getting a lot of money out of it, why don't I unionize? If the football players get to, I'm doing a service, I get the same thing, tuition as well, and they're making more money than what I'm getting in my tuition. Why don't I?
No, but they don't. In the lab, you don't. When you're doing research and development in college,
Yeah, R&D doesn't provide funds. Doesn't make
college
funds.
exactly.
It costs
College
money.
gives you the money to do it, and if you get a patent, it's yours. It doesn't belong to the university.
Correct.
That's not the way I understand that. I understand the university has the dibs.
On your patent, not if it's yours.
No.
If it's a program that they develop that you're working on, that's different. But if it's a program that you bring to the table and you develop and you're the one that's the R&D guy on it, that's yours.
No. I'm talking about if I'm a student and I'm in a lab and as an internship or a research assistant, whatever, and I'm working extra and I'm making all the university money on this patent. Why don't I unionize? Because I should get a part of that cut.
Well, the other thing is, you're in that lab, your own choice. It's usually part of whatever program you are to get to the degree at the end, right? And you have the option of leaving or working something else at the same time. Student athletes don't get that option.
Why
They
not?
Literally, no, you're not allowed because you're not allowed to work.
Yeah, you can't
That's
work.
the whole point of the lab guy.
Yeah.
The lab guy can go work at Chick-fil-A next to me, a couple hours a week, and then do his lab stuff. Colty, our friend the Giant Colty, he has a job, and then he did lab stuff at FIU, heading for his master's and I believe doctorate. He's able to do both.
Yeah.
FIU doesn't own him, but if he was a basketball player, he could never do any other thing except stay on campus, do his basketball hours, go to his classes.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
It's going to be a very, very fascinating to watch this because this can change the entire landscape of college athletics.
If it does, if it happens, it'll change things. And if it doesn't happen, it's a starting point. It's another university.
something else.
I don't think it's going to go away. I think they're going to try to make a push for it.
I agree with you 100% that it will not go away, but the universities are going to survive without football.
No,
they're not going to be. They're not going to be as wealthy.
No. Some universities will survive. A lot of universities will not survive. A lot of universities will not. Look at what happened. Look at what happened when the kids at Grambling decided to walk out. There was chaos. They canceled the game. No practices. Got a coach fired. Got a new coach hired, and that was just a 3-day thing.
But that was even without being unionized.
And that was without being unionized. Imagine with the power of a union and everybody on board, not just 18 of the 90 players. It's going to have an impact if it's followed through and done right. It's going to have an impact.
The only thing I would say, Theo, Texas has that contract with ESPN. If they don't have football, they don't have that contract.
No, and I understand that, but I'm telling you, you said it was 106 schools. Okay, in Division One.
Yeah.
Okay, in Division One, I bet you out of the 106, I would say maybe 40 of these 106 universities are the USCs and the Alabamas. And I'm saying 40, in my opinion, is a high number, okay? The rest of them do not live off football. They don't.
You know what I'm going to do? Because I find this a fascinating subject, and I think
it's interesting.
I think it's going to be one that's going to be with us for the next few years. I'm going to research that. I'm going to look at monetary intakes of these schools on donations versus what football brings into these schools, and I'm going to check all 106 Division I schools, and I'm going to draw up my little chart. And I'm going to see how many of these schools bring in real money from football, because I'm curious to know that too. I'm curious to know of the 106 Division I schools, how many of them are funding the majority of the programs at the college level.
It's got to. I think it's a lot. But you'll do that. Let's go to a Carlos montage, and then we'll go to break after this. Carlos has made enemies on this show. The one that he goes to the most has definitely been Dolphin related. And there's so much material that he brings, on a weekly basis with this show. It's too hard to choose out, just one clip or two clips. So we've made a montage of Theo Carlos going after our favorite football team, the Miami Dolphins. Are you gonna cheer with pots and pans and
that might get
like
me
a
out?
dictator?
I'll be out in
falling?
Davie. I'll be out in Davie, right by Nova University, banging my pots and pans.
He won't do it for a dictator, for someone that oppresses family, but he'll do it for Jeff Ireland.
Absolutely, and I'll be there with a plane ticket. You know what? I can sit back and I can say very proudly that an NFL receiver for the Miami Dolphins that had over 1,000 yard receiving only had one more touchdown catch than I did last year.
Explain what a Carlos.
Carlos Dansby is when you come off the line, you get hit by an offensive lineman, and then you chase the play for 16 yards, and you catch the guy from behind. And then you get up, and you pound your chest, and you proclaim that you're the best inside linebacker in football because you had 17 tackles that game. Not the fat. No, it doesn't matter that you had them all 12 yards downfield, and the guy went for 180 yards. But no, you had 17. You led the team in tackles. I need 200 tackles a year. Shit. But Lamar Miller's going to go for 1,600 this year. So
You think so?
No, I don't. That's what I would have done. I would have said, take yourself, your children, autistic or not, healthy or not, take them and move them to Minnesota or somewhere. Follow Spielman. Go work with Spielman. Be his partner. Maybe Ross is much more sympathetic than I am, and I hope he is.
Is she making some of these moves?
No, you don't. You don't hope he's more sympathetic. You're hoping he's a cold businessman that goes, "You suck. Get out of here."
That's what I would have done. You saw the latest award the Dolphins gave out to their defense or to their player. The player earned. I mean, most teams give outstanding player, MVP awards. Most dominant guy. Weight room king. We gave the Courage Award. We gave a Courage Award. Courage Award to Tony McDaniel. He got the Courage Award for the team.
Who got the Heart Award?
I don't know, but if the best that you can do as a team is muster up a Courage Award, that's why we're where we're at.
I can't even believe this is real. Are you trolling us?
No, man, I am absolutely. I read that right before I got here.
Man.
Tony McDaniel got the Courage Award.
And who's Tony McDaniel?
Yeah, exactly. He played in 11 of the 16 games this year. Ed Block. Who is Ed Block? I'm going back to the Tony McDaniel Courage Award. This is the Ed Block Courage Award that was awarded to Tony McDaniel. Who is Ed Block? I'm a Dolphin fan. Been one since 71. Don't know Ed Block.
I don't know.
I apologize if I sound ignorant and
I don't know.
Somebody can tell me who Ed Block is, but I have no idea who Ed Block is.
Give me a second. Let me whip out Google.
Is he somebody's cousin on the Dolphins that had some kind of leukemia or something and battled through it and was able to survive this? Is he related to Ireland somehow? I don't know.
My stomach. My stomach.
Damn, I'm an idiot.
Ay, man. I couldn't breathe. Dude, that's some of the funniest stuff.
Yo, qué clásico de mierda.
We'll go to break. That's your work right there,
That's
right?
it, bro. That's all I can say. Wow.
We'll go to break. We'll come back. Alan, you're on deck.
Yeah.
You know what Alan is? You know what Alan is?
He's a provocateur.
No. Alan, the face that Alan had, the smile and the shrugged shoulders, it was like a little kid that wrote inside a book that you're not supposed to write in and closes it, and he's just waiting for someone to open it and see it.
One day.
Yeah. He's just waiting. That's like his smile. He's so giddy. That's the most emotion he showed all night tonight. Just looking for your faces of frustration, man.
He's a provocateur.
In this case, yeah. Yeah.
Alan, why don't you explain why you chose this song?
Well, basically, I was unaware of the theme, and
you couldn't win again.
No, look, nobody's listening. Beat nobody's listening. All right.
Yeah, that's true.
So it was choose a song. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? And then Carl was like, just choose something Japanese. So I chose the Japanese opening to the anime that his daughter watches.
Beautiful.
Provocateur.
Provocateur.
Also, this is the song we made Chris listen to on our way to our nerd convention.
Yeah, it was weird.
As he sat there awkwardly, and two of us know the series, and the other guy's just like, yeah, whatever, music, woo!
Hey, did you know that, George? That
No.
they took Chris to one of these
anime conventions.
Anime where grown adults are dressed like animation characters and cats,
and he saw a big cat, human sized.
Yeah. Like in a giant fuzzy mascot costume.
Guys running around with 2 cabbages.
Was it old guys?
It was all 13-year-old girls. It was weird. There was a lot of suppressed.
A lot of 40 to 50-year-old men.
Yes,
and
yes.
15-year-old girls.
There was
that's
specific
actually what it
gaps.
was.
There was
That's
like
what it
40
was.
to 50. There's directly like the 25 range.
Like 6 of you guys.
Yeah. Well, no. There were plenty of people because a lot, like the first panel we went to, the show that they were talking about only aired when it was, when I was a child. So there was an entire half of the room that was my age on one side for that show.
And
So
they were like,
and
10,
then there's the
9s
like 7
on
to
the
12-year-olds
same
that are there
side.
like, oh my god, I like Pokemon.
Chris is moving 9-year-olds to get autographs of the big cat.
it was strange. We all gotta go, man.
Oh, God.
We gotta go.
I'll go. We'll all go. We take George with us. We'll all go. We'll all go. That'll be fun.
Oh, now I want to dress up.
You know what? I'll even pay for his dad's ticket.
Oh. So
I want your dad to say something to a 7-foot cat.
Oh, his dad can do the interviews.
¿Qué clase come mierda tú eres, chico? Déjate mariconería.
His dad can do the interviews.
So this is the segment of Alan.
Yeah.
Now he's, as we could see already in the first few minutes of this segment,
The house is eccentric.
he holds a certain spot he's like the leg of the table. It's pretty strange on that side, but he holds it up and he's very important. Without Alan, the show falls.
Yeah.
Along the
He's
side.
that leg that folds all the way up, and then you put it down when you need it, and if you don't, you can just put it right back up. That's Alan.
Alan's vital to the show. So
Vital.
as I'm working on stuff for Alan, I'm realizing that Alan has a certain character trait that he does throughout the shows.
I think I know what it is.
Okay? Alan likes to impersonate things.
Especially angry people.
He has a lot of voices, okay? And I was only going to come with 2, 3 that came to the top of my head, and the more I was looking for audio, the more Alan voices and impersonations kept coming through. So, without further ado, here are the many voices of Alan.
Welcome back. Want to try that again? Welcome back, listeners of the Sports Table. The redheaded stepchild beats the Bills 27-24. Carlos.
Okay, who's the redheaded stepchild?
In the crap game of the week, Steelers defeat the lowly Jets 19-6. Colts surprised by the Chargers and resurrected quarterback whose name I'm forgetting. Defeat
Phillip Rivers.
There we go, that guy. 19-9. The Cowboys defeat division rival Redskins and their racist slur name 31-16. I thought it was gonna be Sylvester Stallone.
It's a terrible.
I'm sorry, it's limited. It's really a Judge Dredd one. I am the law. That's all I got. Yeah, go.
The only other drummer that I know is Animal from the Muppets. So
Hit drums.
Animal's tough.
I like drums.
But it doesn't qualify. And again,
so, I swear it was like this big. George, they can't see this big. You don't talk about it. You guys is friend. Kim Jong-un. So,
Hung too low.
keep going.
Kim Jong-un.
Keep going.
Kim Jong-un. Apparently.
No. I want Rodman. More Rodman.
Kim Jong-un, dude. He like basketball. He called me my friend. He's my friend. He my friend. Don't have me. I'm like my friend.
Dennis, what do you guys do when you're there in North Korea?
Well, my friend, they call him the marshal. The marshal, he get me some bitches, he get me some alcohol. The guys I brought, my black guys, they stay in the room because, can't trust them. But,
It's a mix between like Hulk Hogan and Mr.
Well,
T.
let's be honest, that interview was very Hulk Hogan. We're saying, that's right, brother. That's right. And there's also a little bit of Batman.
I was going to say Cookie Monster in there. Is this the music you want when you're picking on somebody?
This is what I want.
Can't you imagine Incognito walking with like a garb made of wolf pelt? Just walking in strutting.
That's exactly what it seems like right there.
Jonathan, I shall make you a tough guy. Come with me, shithead, and I shall show you how to grow balls out of your vagina. And he just walking away, just staring. You need rookies? I shall have your money, and you shall pay for my jet skis. And it shall be so, rookie.
But Richie, I'm not a rookie. I'm a second-year man.
Shut the fuck up, or I will shit in your mother's nostril and then feed it to her, Chihuahua.
Okay.
Rookie.
Okay, Richie, I'm a rookie.
Come lick my fur boots. I killed an animal for this. You shall enjoy.
I don't want to pay anymore, Richie.
Shut your mouth before I make you a kicker.
The wolf pelt has I feel like Cheeto stains on it.
No, absolutely it does. It does.
And he's walking around with a big old ale cup.
And the other thing is,
sloshing ale all over the place.
The only Viking-esque thing he has on is the pelt and the shoes. The rest of him, he's wearing dolphin equipment with a backwards hat. Just
and a check for $1.2 million hanging out of his back pocket, signed by Stephen Ross.
The bonus, Stephen Ross went to Jonathan Martin's like, "Go, can you cover this bonus?"
Are you ready, rookie? It's time to buy me a drink. I demand Don Perignon served in Gucci boots. You dick-faced motherfucker, you better serve it to me and then brush my wolf pelt.
I can only buy I can only buy one
Shut
bottle.
Shut the fuck
Richie.
up, I'm not done talking.
One bottle, please.
No, I demand a bottle per shoe, and I demand 10 pairs of shoes.
But I won't have any money left.
I don't give a fuck about your money. I give a fuck about my Don Perignon.
That was a classic.
Woo! I'm a man of inspiration, apparently.
You're a man of many voices that make it fun. They're all angry voices, though. It reminds me of like the movie Toy Story.
I thought Animal was a very happy voice.
Yeah.
I hate drugs.
It sounds like a very angry voice.
He's always a simple guy. He doesn't have emotional deflection in his voice.
That was good, bro.
There was a George impersonation in there. I don't know if you caught it.
Oh yeah.
Again? Oh, okay.
It's this big, bro. You're like, can't see it. No, George. No, my George impersonations are better when I'm trying to interrupt. No, wait, let me interrupt you right there. I forgot what I was saying.
Oh, man.
But I mean, there's certain voices that are now. I mean, the NFL Countdown voice. Hey, greetings, sports friends.
It needs to make it.
It would seem so odd if I didn't do it in this voice
every year.
Yeah.
Him and.
I mean, but by far the incognito voice for me is my personal favorite. I mean, I love. You dick face motherfucker.
Shut the fuck up.
So we have Alan's segment, and Alan's got some stuff. So let's go across the world into a far and distant land.
Oh, and everyone out here, stand up. We're gonna cheer on for the Marshall segment. Alan, please talk about the Marshall's land. Thank you, Dennis. So, in all our journeys in North Korea, the land of, Dr. Evil, there are things they do that we've been befuddled at. So here's the latest. You didn't realize North Korea doesn't have any money. I'm reading an analogy here that describes them as a 12-year-old who spends all their allowance on the toy stickers in front of Publix. All of it. All $100 you give them, waste it away because that's what they do. So you look around the world and you think, what's a good way to make money? Let's build a hotel.
Okay.
Very capitalist thing. The capitalists make money. Those pigs, those son of a bitches, let's build a hotel just like them. Now, we're going to ignore the fact that, North Korea is a land covered in dust and sadness and tears of death. We're going to ignore the fact it's damn near impossible to get into North Korea. We're just going to accept the fact they have a hotel there. All right? So, with this hotel, they've added, a bit of spice to one of their other activities. Did you know the North Koreans, one of their favorite pastimes is kidnapping South Koreans?
Ah, interesting.
So, where does the hotel come in? Well, here's where it comes in. They sell travel packages to South Koreans who have their relatives captured and kidnapped in North Korea. So, for instance, Carlos, let's say you were a South Korean and I'm a North Korean and I've kidnapped you.
Yes.
And now I'm selling to your family a vacation package to my hotel to see you, who I've stolen from your family and country.
What do I get out of this?
You get to see your family. I get the money your family will pay to see you because I stole you.
For a great package deal
Yep.
of $150.
And then
In the saddest country in the world.
I get to go home again after that?
No. We use it in the bargain once a year. Once a year.
You're not going to go back to your family. You're not going to go back to the hotel.
No, because then we have to pay money to kidnap you again. No, we're going to keep you in North Korea. So every year, your family gets to pay us tribute.
Do I get to stay? Do I get to stay in that nice hotel?
No. Concentration camps with you.
Damn.
Once a year, we'll let you stay in a hotel where the beds are made of stone. I'm not really sure how stony they are, but it's a safe bet. Dust, dirt, and stone. All right?
Wow.
And that is North Korea's hotel industry.
Wow. Travel and tourism at its best, huh? Oh, my Lord.
Could you imagine each floor? Like, the higher you are, the longer they've been there.
It's probably one of the few buildings that's wired for electricity. Speaking of which, did you know North Korea has a ghost town next to the DMZ?
Really?
Yes. North Korea decides we need to promote the South Koreans that we're obviously more awesome than they are. So let's build a city right next to the DMZ. So they've built this majestic, modern-looking city. There's no dust anywhere. The buildings, solid concrete. They have lights that are on at night. Most of North Korea doesn't have this.
Who lives there?
No one! They have constructed an empty concrete playpen. It's one of the few places in the country that's completely wired for electricity because they used to keep the lights on at night to make people think people were living there. And they used to have a loudspeaker that would blast out how awesome North Korea was. Loud enough so you were supposed to be able to hear it on the other side in South Korea. Side note, no one has ever left South Korea for that city.
Well, they're assuming the place is full because it's got lights and everything.
No. It's meant to be it's like the Coney Island. It's supposed to be like, come to us. We'll receive you here and send you off to Chicago afterwards. But come to us.
What would happen if a North Korean decided they wanted to squat and take over one of those places?
They'd probably be shot.
Not probably.
Well, that's under the assumption that they got past any electrical fences and mines and who knows what else is in the way.
Does your research tell you whether that's much better than their current living arrangements in North Korea?
Yes, actually, outside of the fact that it doesn't have internet because, concrete buildings and Wi-Fi don't work out well. Yeah, those buildings are very sturdy and they have electricity. I'm not sure about plumbing because I'm not sure ghosts need to go to the bathroom. But
why spend the
sturdy
money?
And electricity better than, 90% of North Korea.
Wow, Kim. Wow.
And that concludes our North Korea segment. You have a good day and enjoy the Marshall. All hail the Marshall.
Excellent. Good job. Good job.
We're clapping for Alan.
Wow. Actually, we're clapping for Kim Jong-un. Without Kim Jong-un, Alan wouldn't be around.
Yeah, that's an entire segment where I get to keep quiet again.
That's fantastic.
It is. It works well for everybody involved. Maybe not Kim, but everybody else is happy.
Do you have a segment in you or no?
I don't have a whole segment, but I'd like to touch on a couple of things.
Do you want the intro music?
Actually, I'd like the intro music to the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Okay, I'll look that up.
Just a little whistling going on there. And while we're doing that, we can just touch on the fact that, we just bring a couple of little pointers out where the United States government between 2006 and 2011 spent a little bit of money on things. Actually, if we go now all the way to 2013, they spent $250 billion on penis pumps.
What?
On what?
Penis pumps. Yes.
200 and
La Bombita. And what they've done is they're obviously paying a lot more for these pumps than you would at a regular place. They're thinking that they're paying about 25% more per pump than if you were buying them on the market. But this is the government. They have the money and they have spent.
They have our money.
It's called a vacuum escalating sucking machine, basically. And it's $250 million. That's a lot of money, man.
Now, I feel like the answer is obvious,
Yeah,
but
where can I sign?
But no. What is the government using these for?
They're passing them out basically in street corners.
Because to be honest,
it's like food stamps.
Yeah, it's like food, like everything else.
This
yeah.
feels like a North Korea, thing.
This is
You
going
penis
to,
pump the guys at DMZ to make them look more intimidating. I mean,
It goes
what
to
are we doing?
bigger dicks.
it goes to all the hospitals, all the centers. Anybody that wants one applies for one and gets one. I mean, it's basically that simple. By the way, our national debt clock is consistently ticking. And if I were to refresh it, because it's already gone up since the last time I did it by like $2.4 billion.
Right.
It's now at $17,275,000,000, $37,266,890.86. It goes up an average of $2.4 billion with a B dollars per day. And you owe Uncle Sam today $54,402.68 each one of you guys.
I don't think I've made that much money in my life.
Well, that's what you owe them. Actually, you owe them now $54,402.69.
What did you think of the State of the Union yesterday?
I thought the State of the Union I was a little bit disappointed in it. The State of the Union to
That's
me,
not surprising.
Nah, well, it is because he's normally a very good orator, and he his next bad speech could be considered his first bad speech. He's a very good speaker, but I think it lacked a lot of. I think he came out early on aggressive and finger wagging and being the lone cowboy, saying, we're doing it my way. You don't want to jump aboard. I'm gonna get done things my way. I got the power of the pen, basically. And that didn't go off very well. It didn't seem to be, to me, very presidential. I also didn't get any excitement, any kind of conclusions. He told me what the problems were. He didn't give me any solutions. And he flat out lied when he said that the debt has been cut in half. It absolutely has not. What's been cut, and not by half, but it's been cut by 0.3%, by 0.33%, is the amount of the increase of the debt. So in other words, instead of, he's not cutting the actual debt.
He's slowing
the amount of money that the debt is increasing by every day, he cut that this year by 33%.
Yeah, he's slowing it down.
So so it's a slower growth of increase, but it's still an increase nonetheless.
Right.
Remember when Bush was in office and he was running for office, he said that a debt of $425 trillion billion was a deficit was ridiculous, and it was un-American, and it was endangering the well-being and the safety of the country. And now it's at 680. So it's 250 some odd $1 billion more than it was before. So I mean, that's just one of the little perks, one of the little lies that he made. The other one, there were a couple of points that I wanted to make out. Let me see if I can grab it here real quick.
I'm glad you brought the book back. You haven't brought the book in a few weeks.
Yeah, I got the book. I got a lot of
the new year.
Yeah, he claims that 9 million people have signed up to Obamacare, and that's true. 9 million people have signed up. What wasn't clarified was that only 2 of those 9 million are actually new affordable health care patients. 7 million of those people are Medicare and Medicaid sign-upees, and 26 and under that get to stay with their parents' policies. So there aren't another 9 million in the program. And I think we can leave it with the last one. He made a real big issue about equal pay for women for equal work. Well, clean your house up first before you start talking about the American people. In the White House, the women that work in the White House make 88 cents on the dollar for that every man makes. In the workforce, it's 77. So he's talking, but he's not walking. Make your White House a dollar for dollar, and then step out and say, the White House is dollar for dollar. I expect everybody else to be dollar for dollar.
But he can't do that. He's using the money for all the penis pumps.
That's true. That's true. And
I didn't even realize that was a problem here.
And I guess we can we'll throw one more in there. He said that the unemployment is down and it's at its lowest rate that it's been in his administration, and he's actually right. The second part of that, the backstory to that, because each one of these has a backstory that we don't hear. He only tells you what he wants you to know. The backstory to that is that last year more Americans gave up looking for work than actually found work. So, of course, the unemployment numbers are not going to be reported because people aren't reporting them in there. So those are just some of the little tricks of the trade that all presidential candidates use when they go in there. They tell you half truths and they don't give you all the information. You got to dig and make sure that you're aware of what's going on.
That's why you're here, man.
That's why I'm here.
That's right.
We'll do one more bit, and then we'll go to break, and then we'll wrap it up in the next segment. We got a special guest coming, Mierda, and Georgia stuff still to go to.
That's right. I can't wait to hear Georgia stuff.
Allen's, again, it's another little montage. Allen has a few bits that just, for whatever reason, they stick out, okay? The first bit is a follow-up PSA to Carlos. Okay, the second bit is one of my favorite songs by Allen, and the third bit is probably our favorite Allen sound of all time.
Yes, it is.
Wacky Mohawk Rainbow Arms Birdman. Wacky Mohawk Rainbow Arms Birdman. Wacky Mohawk Rainbow Arms Birdman. Hi, I'm Allen from the Sports Table, and thanks to a free agent signing, the Heat now have a Wacky Mohawk Rainbow Arms Birdman, and they are passing the fun on to you. Attract viewers to your Harlem Shake video. Make a splash at your next karaoke event. Keep Mike Miller company. Protect the rim. Confuse your Mohawk-hating parents. Cuban American, el gringo está loco. Flap your wings on the court, or just raise the roof. So whatever your Wacky Mohawk Rainbow Arms Birdman needs are, stay tuned to the Heat located on Biscayne Boulevard and discuss here on the Sports Table.
Last week, man. Last freaking week.
He's gone! He's gone! He's gone! He's gone! Fired! 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 Fired!
Still no touchdowns. Still no touchdowns. Still we can't score. Still we got problems.
Please, can you cut that? Cut that as a ringtone.
It'll be on your phone soon enough. Don't worry.
He's gone. It's epic. It's epic, Allen. I'll give you credit. I'll give you credit. I'll give you credit.
Thank you. Cannon fire usually helps when you choose a song. The thing I'm seeing is that her and Bran, I almost view them as wild cards coming up, because you got Bran as a super warg, and you had that hovering threat coming out of season 2 of when does Arya find a man from Bravos and turn the coin over looking for Jaqen. I'm very curious because they present something completely different from the general politics amongst the big families. And I just don't know what to expect out of those two. Maybe we're taking over a dragon?
What's that?
I've listened to that crap 100 times. I still don't understand what he's saying. Like, he's speaking Korean.
Man, it was a good question, too, man. It was deep. It was insightful. And this guy from New Jersey is too busy thinking about the Knicks and the Nets. Jackass.
If you hear at the end of the response from the interview, you hear all Allen's confidence and emotion.
Oh, it all left.
Released.
It was like a deflated balloon.
It was released through his nose. If you hear, hold on.
What's that?
That's it.
It was like a blow to the body. Oh,
that's it. Still some of our favorite clips. So we'll go to break. We'll come back. We have one more special guest. We have Georgia stuff, and we have Come Mierda, so that you don't want to miss it.
Jets fans sucking cock ain't no surprise. Pour them a drink and they'll tell you some lies. They got nothing to lose, so they just sing the blues all the time. Jets fans gave them their heart, they gave them their soul. But Rex Ryan lied, there's no Super Bowl. 1969's gone, and now all they want is to cry. First they say Tim Tebow, oh how they really need you. suddenly you find the sideline with Sanchez's shitty arm. Then the Pats, they beat you. Oh, how they really beat you.
Back to the
There's
sports table,
nothing you
everybody.
can do or say.
1 year, man.
That's our New York Jet anthem.
One freaking year. Unbelievable. And this is the Jets anthem, exactly.
The Jets anthem.
I want to fight for my terrorist Jets kid.
That's a funny one too, Alan. We combined forces on that one. Make Captain Crabbit. Okay, we're back to the sports table. Last segment of the show. 1 year in review, guys.
1 year in review. It's been a spectacular show so far.
1 year in review. First thing I want to get to is it's our dear pal Jorge. Now, let's start explaining the description of what we're gonna listen to. First of all, we joke around about Jorge not coming on the show, but bro, you miss a lot of shows, man. It was hard finding, clips of everyday stuff because okay, show 27 through 30, you're in one, and then you'll be gone until show 35, and I'm like, there's just opportunities that you're not there for, but when you're there, it's great.
Classic.
Gold.
Actually, it's funny because all the clips you've played for you and him and Carlos and my friend over here.
Why are you talking on your titty? Can you lift it up to your mic? And lift it up to your mouth?
This thing drops. Anyway,
Maybe it's because you broke it at the beginning of the day.
It's all the shows I've been here.
All the shows you've been here, yeah, for the most part, I think.
Yeah. No, everything you've played is I've been
stuff
here.
that he's here for.
There's still a few clips that I'm going to play towards the end of this segment. That I don't think you were there for all of them. Actually, I know you weren't there for a few of them, but there's stuff you're here for. One of my favorite stories now. A lot of stories. When I was thinking of the best ofs, I thought of what was the first thing that came to the top of my head? Ed Block for you, Alan with all his voices. For you, it's an old one, but it's still one of my favorites. And there are other stories that you said, but some of the good ones are off air that we recorded, but I wasn't gonna play because we said it off air because could change a marriage or two.
Right,
but
a little salty.
Bro code.
A little salty.
But this is one of our favorite ones. Here is George having an issue with some thieves in his house.
The problem, you know what the problem is? I'm telling you, I haven't had a radio for 2 weeks. I haven't listened to anything in
What are you
sports.
talking about? It's not like this is a new technology. It's radio.
It got stolen, bro.
Does
Your radio got stolen in your car?
That doesn't happen anymore.
You're kidding me.
It did.
Nobody steals radios
What are you
anymore.
talking
This
about?
is a great topic. Let me tell you. They didn't steal just
Wait a second. They stole.
They did.
Listen,
They stole.
last week you missed it. When he was younger, this guy used to go to rock concerts and he used to be in a huge mash pit.
A mash pit?
A mash pit, big time.
Yeah.
You don't remember that? All right, go on,
Yeah.
continue.
They-
Stolen radio.
They took the controller for the AC. The knobs for the AC, like the speed of.
Where
the
the
fan.
hell do you live?
Bro, they broke into the car to get that. They seen the
someone
car
is
came-
trolling you, man.
Did you
No,
just drive around the neighborhood, find the same car? You know it was them. It's 4 houses down the block.
I'm
The
telling
guy in
you,
the
I'm not
corner.
lying to you, bro. They did. They took that crap.
They broke your window. How
Not
did
a
they
fucking
do it?
No, I leave it open all the time.
Oh, what the-
It's open right now.
Okay, so there's no, they didn't steal it. They saw your car open and were like, "Oye, vamos a joder," and they took it.
No,
from you
no.
just-
These guys are professional. They left tools and everything. They didn't break anything.
They left tools.
No, they did.
The
They left-
tools
they
are
left
worth
the
more.
socket.
So they traded. They traded the tools for the knobs and your radio.
Well, they left one freaking Chinese-made socket. They did.
Bro, you got to move.
Isn't that worth more than the knobs on the?
No, bro. I paid.
Is that a hot commodity in the black market?
I have no clue. I'm not lying though. They did. They took the controller for the AC. It's got 3 knobs.
So you have no AC?
No.
He's got a little metal rod that he's got to put pliers on. Like,
no.
Luckily, they left the socket so he can turn.
No, I did. I got AC. I got it on the internet. I got on eBay and bought the I swear to God, it looked like they stole it from my car. I swear to God.
The same thing.
They stole it.
Same everything.
Had the same wear on it too.
Is it the same George was here?
I'm going to mark this one.
You know what? They're going to keep stealing it, and you're going to keep buying it from them over and over and over again.
I actually looked at it. It came from California. $56 on eBay.
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
That was funny, man.
That's
56 bucks.
insane.
That's the best thing I've ever heard stolen in my life.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they didn't come from the stereo. They came for that freaking
The knobs.
the knobs.
They just took the stereo. Wow, what happenstance? This
No,
stereo might as well take it.
The car, when I bought the car was used, and he came with a nice stereo. You know, it was a DVD player and all that crap. And they said, oh, we'll take this one too. But they came for that controller. I swear to God.
So that's why you have no radio?
Yeah, that's why I have no radio. I'm too lazy to go get a freaking radio. I am.
That's insane.
It was. I at first, and they didn't break anything. I mean, they took their time to actually disconnect.
Where were you?
Sleeping, man.
Oh my God.
It happened right in front of the house.
You mean they broke your window? No, I left it open.
They were professionals, but they left their tools.
It's open now.
They actually did. It left a little 7/16 socket.
That is one of the funniest things we've
I'm
done.
not sure they can be professionals. They're leaving their tools everywhere.
They're not gonna have it for the next job.
Yeah, they're done.
That was
amateurs.
That was one of those that came right off the top of my head. I knew when it was the best of stuff. That was one of the.
I forgot. I did.
That was good.
I was like, "What the hell is he gonna put on?"
No, man. I have other stuff for you, and then I have some bonus stuff for all three of us before we get to Come Mierda. I'm waiting for the call. Our special guest is supposed to call, and then we jump right into it.
Okay.
I'm just sort of vamping till he calls.
Yeah,
'cause
do
he
his
called
next.
and-
Do his next one.
Hey, remember when I do my Come Mierda of the week? Remember this?
Are we doing Come
What?
Mierdas, or you have a compilation of our Come Mierdas?
We have Come Mierdas. We have Come Mierdas, and we're gonna do our own.
Okay.
We have our special guest. Dude, where are you calling from? Are you calling from a party? Where you at a rave?
Oh, can y'all hear that? I can go outside. I'm inside this little restaurant.
He's alive! He made it to Jersey, okay? Yeah!
Nobody hurt you talking to yourself. Good job.
Man. All right, hold on.
Are you in a subway?
Can you guys hear me better?
Yes, now I can hear you better. Are you standing in the blistering cold now? Is that what that is?
Oh, come on. It's not that cold outside. You guys are pussies down there.
Lubitz is there. Lubitz and Default were in there, and Lubitz was telling me that he couldn't take it anymore. He's like, it's negative 15.
Oh, my God. Is he serious?
That's what he said.
Kid who works in our office, he was saying that he tried to complain to his brother about the cold, but his brother lives in Minnesota where it really is negative fucking 20, and he's like, shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear.
For all of you that recognize that voice, it's Ricky, everybody. Ricky is our favorite. He's our favorite New York correspondent and overall black representative, you know,
sir.
for the show.
I got a promotion. I used to be just a New York guy. Now I'm a black guy too.
Well, no, we had you on for what do black people think, and I'm gonna have a little bit of that later because you even text me. You had some comments on some sort of cornerbacks from Seattle that you got to get into.
Yeah, well, I saw a lot of retarded things that needed to be set straight. So yeah.
The first thing though I want to get to before anything else, your city is hosting the Super Bowl, man. Is it what you expected? Is it crazier traffic than what you wanted? Is it full of nuts? What's it like in New York right now?
Well, the nice thing that they did was that basically the area where everything is going on is sort of that Times Square area where if you live here, you don't fuck with that anyway. So the only people that are affected were tourists, basically, which, I don't know why you'd come to New York in the middle of the winter. So they did a good job with where they decided to put everything. I mean, as far as everything else, I'm going to have to wait until Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday to tell you about the party situation. So, I'll keep you posted, I guess. I don't know.
You got any parties lined up to go to?
I have ideas. I'll put it like that. I don't want to incriminate myself too much.
Like ideas how to break in or what?
I got that. So let's leave it at that.
How to crash parties 101.
Well, Ricky's in New York, and there's been so much since the last time we talked to you, especially in New York. Carmelo Anthony, they wanted to cut him and trade him, and then now they want him back after one game of 62. and Lala is saying that he's gonna stay there, and then he's rumored to go to Chicago or LA. Why can't you guys just make a decision and just release him? Just let him go. Just let him go already.
Well, that's been the fan base that keeps flip-flopping like that, because if you look at Knicks management, I mean, it's clear they're 100% in on Melo's thing. Like, Melo doesn't have to do shit. The Knicks are going to offer him 5 years at $130 million. There's no doubt in my mind. I mean, the prudent thing to do right now would be to trade him, but they're never going to do that. I mean, the Knicks never do the right thing. So that's not going to happen. As far as him going another place, I mean, really, I think he's screwed either way, because if he goes to L.A., the last thing you want to do is play with the aging Kobe, who still thinks he's 28 and is taking, 25 shots a game. That's not going to end well.
Right.
And then you look at Chicago, I mean, would you want to bet on Derrick Rose's career right now? I don't know. Like, who knows what he comes back as? So.
No, wouldn't you think, though, let's assume a little bit, Rick. Let's assume that Rose comes back and he can stay healthy. And that's a big assumption after what's happened the last couple of years. But don't you think that could work?
Oh, no, 100%. I mean, especially if they could keep Thibodeau around, too. I mean, on paper, you put the Bulls with Noah, Gibson, Butler, and Rose. That's like tailor-made for Carmelo. To me, all those guys' strengths perfectly accentuate his weaknesses. But, I brought up Thibodeau for a reason, though, because, I mean, he has a terrible relationship with their management.
Yes, he does.
I mean, they might be one of the few teams that's as dysfunctional as we are. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think that's a really 100% rock solid landing spot. Like, if you're gonna leave, like, you look at what it took to get LeBron from even as crappy a situation as Cleveland was. I mean, you guys already had signed Bosh. You had 2 All-Stars. You had Pat Riley, who has overseen, two different dynasties, really.
Right.
I mean,
rebuilds.
You have to be presenting a rock solid case to get a guy to leave, especially if he's leaving money and years on the table. And I don't really see situations that are going to present themselves like that to him. So,
well, if you remember really quick, that what Cleveland did was they played a Family Guy episode. You remember that? They played a Family Guy episode talking about family. That doesn't work nowadays. What?
The Knicks aren't going to play shit. They're just going to say $130 million over and over. They're not going to say anything else at the meeting. They're like $130, but that's more than 90. $130.
Yeah, of all the options that I've seen, though, that's the one that I see the most. Maybe not necessarily viable in that he'll make the move, but viable that if he does make the move, that could actually work.
Oh yeah, as far as winning, there's no question that if Thibodeau stays and if Rose is healthy, I mean, how would that not be one of the best teams in the league?
Yeah,
like, I don't
absolutely.
even see a scenario in which it wouldn't.
Well, that's easy because Thibodeau would kill him for not playing defense.
Or
he'd kill himself for having to play 48 minutes a night because Thibodeau runs everyone into the ground.
I mean, maybe, but when I hear people bring up the defense thing with Thibodeau and Melo, I'm like, do you guys not know who Carlos Boozer is? That guy sucks, and he plays the most minutes of everybody now. So
your retort is well taken.
Ricky is on with us. This is our 1 year, man. This is the 1 year episode.
Oh, congratulations!
Yeah, for the show, and you are definitely one of our favorites now. We have you on as a New York guy, but we also have you on as our black guy correspondent. Now, I know you had some special comments about what happened with Richard Sherman, so I'll just leave the floor to you, and the more curse words, the better.
Man, I have so much that I need to edit myself on this. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to say is that the person I agree with the most in this entire fiasco is Michael Crabtree. Because if you come up to me right after our season just ended, when we had a chance to go to the fucking Super Bowl for the second year in a row, and you put your hand out to me like, good game, I'm not only going to hit you in the face, mask, like, I'm going to whoop your ass. Like, who cares about 15-yard penalties? The fucking game's over. You know what I mean? Like, I would have done worse. So him doing that, that's the guy I agreed with the most in the situation, number one. The second thing I'd like to say about this is that the greatest follow-up question of all time now belongs to Erin Andrews, with her being 100% scared to death.
Right?
She was.
And being like, who's talking about you, Richard? Like, I mean, really.
It wasn't me.
The police were probably treating her like she was a rape victim out there. Like, tell us what happened, Aaron. Like, so I just had to get those two things out of the way. Now, on to the actual media reaction to this. I mean, it was extremely predictable. And, that there's no need to even touch on it because whatever, old white sports writers covering young black guys, it's bound to happen from time to time. But the thing that really bothered me was everyone who was defending him jumping to the fact that, he went to Stanford. Like, as if going to a better school makes you a better person. Like, what the fuck does that have to do with any aspect of the situation that this dude went to a reputable school? Like, who gives a shit? Like, if he went to the U and he did that, but then also explained himself as eloquently as he did in the press conference the next day, who gives a shit? You know what I mean? Like, that was really, to me, that was the really offensive part of it, was people being like, oh, no, it's okay, he went to Stanford. Because as a person, I don't know how to say this, but as a person who got a lot of shit coming up, goes, he talks white, this and that. I mean, I feel like Richard Sherman has probably been in the situation I have a lot where people say to him like, oh, well, you might as well be white with the way you talk and, the way you carry yourself and blah, blah, blah. And you're always thinking to yourself like, man, I wish the police saw it that way. I wish people that own little corner stores saw it that way. Like, people are still going to judge you by your cover, mainly. And, I mean, even if it shouldn't happen, whatever your feelings on that, that's just the truth, So, I was proud of him that he actually, came in the press conference the next day and like, I don't know why you guys would think I'm going to be like a dog with a bone and just be rabid up here. Like, I'm going to be able to explain myself,
Right.
I was hyped up, I was in the moment, whatever. But yeah, I mean, what bothered me was people explaining his actions away. But, oh no, he went to Stanford, he's clearly not a criminal. Like, who gives a shit? And the other thing that bothered me was, I don't know if any of you guys saw this, but, Andre Iguodala, what the fuck he has, I don't know how much time he had on his hands, but he sent out this tweet that was basically like, people setting us back another 500 years. I think he might have stolen from the Chris Rock bit, like, it's every time black people try to get ahead, niggas are holding us back, blah, blah, blah. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say that word, whatever. Too late. And I was like, really? That's what you're worried about? Like all the problems in not only the black community, but the world, and you're worried about this guy yelling after a fucking football game? Like, come on, man.
Right.
I hate seeing ignorance on that level and then blasted to that many people because it's on Twitter, and because he's an athlete, a lot of people follow him. So
it was
those
just
two things bothered me.
It was just interesting to me how there are just certain narratives that people just accept as automatic truth. Like down here when Richie Incognito was going, the bullying thing with Jonathan Martin, there was a lot of blowback on saying that Jonathan Martin wasn't man enough.
Right.
Like he was a bitch. He wasn't man enough. When how manly can you be when you leave text messages or voicemails? You know what I mean? Like that kind of narrative. And the same thing. How so he's a thug. He's not a thug because he went to Stanford. So there are no thugs that are in Stanford. And if you're not in Stanford, you are considered a thug. I don't understand that narrative as well.
Yeah. What would have happened if he was a San Diego State grad? He would have been considered a thug.
Well, that's the thing. That's my question. It's like if this would have been a dude that went to the U or Florida State and, had a DUI on his record or something, people wouldn't have even cared what he said. They'd been like, oh, no, he's clearly a thug. Just look at the record. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I feel like there's just a lot less of a margin for error when you're a person like Richard Sherman.
Well, yeah,
or
I mean,
Martin.
he's a big guy. He's a big guy. He wears dreadlocks. He's a hell of a player, and he talks. As soon as he does that, just looking at him, you're gonna assume, hey, that's a thug.
Going back, Ricky, to the Knicks, because that's one of our favorite topics. You're halfway through the season, more or less. How funny is it for you as a fan, compared to what it is to the rest of us? Because you guys are hilarious. Like, every week there's something new. I sent you a video of what was that white guy? What was the name?
He tried to dunk. Bargnani, my favorite player on the Knicks.
That he tried to dunk and then he just gave up. Remember that? Am I talking?
I can't even discuss the Knicks rationally anymore. That's how mad I am. Okay, so I'm willing to concede that the team obviously has talent problems. That's no surprise to
No.
anyone. Whatever. The thing that bothers me the most, though, is that we already saw the best way to use this personnel last year, right? So instead of building on that, instead of building on Melo at the 4 and playing with as many shooters as possible, instead of building on playing 2-point guard lineups to create better ball movement, we trade for a guy who's legitimately one of the – maybe he's not one of the worst players in the league, but as far as frustrating to watch, I mean, I can't think of a more frustrating person to watch in my lifetime than Andrea Bargnani. And really, it's not even close. He laps the field. So
yeah.
Not only trade for that guy, but throw in a first-round pick so that when, a few months later, Kyle Lowry's playing out of his fucking skull, and you can make a trade to actually get him, you don't want to give up a first-round pick because you already gave up one in the summer for this fucking bum. So the level of incompetence by not only the coaching staff and the management, I mean, it goes beyond what's happening on the court.
What about Chris
that's the
Smith?
most frustrating part of the year.
What about Chris Smith?
Oh, he got cut.
Yeah, well.
No.
Yep. Off the team.
Listen, J.R. Smith has a clause to have his brother in. That's the kind of contracts you guys are signing.
Yeah, I know. It's great, isn't it? Well, I mean, listen, when you can make allowances for a career 40% shooter who's never made an All-Star game, you have to do it,
Right,
That's right. That's him all day long.
There's
39-40.
There's a few things I want to just do sort of like a rapid fire, Ricky, with you before we let you go. Just think of a few things that come to your mind when I say these people's names, okay? Kanye West.
Man, quiet lately, right?
He punched some kid in the face because he was yelling at Kardashian, in the what was it,
You know what's funny? What's funny is that Kanye has gotten to such a level that didn't even register with me. It's like, oh, yeah, no, of course you do that. Like, so yeah, I guess what I would say with Kanye is that nothing would faze me at this point. Like, if you told me that he had a shark tank in his house and it somehow broke and ate his baby, I wouldn't even bat an eye. I'd be like, oh, yeah. That's
What about Kevin Hart, man? Kevin Hart's got to take it easy with all these movies.
Kevin Hart, I mean, I was just talking about him today. It's so funny you asked me about him. I mean, he's kind of underground running the world, right? Like, he's having his little Eddie Murphy Chappelle moment right now.
Yeah, he's having his moment.
I mean, the fact that movie made as much money as it did.
It's
crazy.
First of all, I heard number one movie in America, and I wanted to throw up.
Yeah, well, the first thing they should do is write a letter to the makers of I, Frankenstein and be like, thank you for being our competition, because everybody saw that trailer. It was like, oh, hell fucking no. I'm not going to watch that. So I feel like that put him in a better position, first of all. But, yeah, man, Kevin Hart, I mean, who knew? I remember him having a funny little spot in 40-Year-Old Virgin, but I didn't think he would ever get to this level.
But he's making movies with LeBron just because he can, not because it's good. Like, that's when you start peaking, isn't it? When you start making Pluto Nash?
Well, here's the thing with Kevin Hart that he did that was smart. He already had his kid, so usually that's what happens to comedians is they start out edgy and then they have kids and they got to start making family movies.
Right.
But he already had the kid, so hopefully he can stay dropping F-bombs.
Ricky, one last thing before we let you go, unless you guys want to jump in. You guys got okay? One last thing before we let you go. Give sort of a warning or a how-to for people visiting New York for the Super Bowl. What should they avoid? What should they check out? Give sort of a how-to for visitors this weekend.
Oh, okay. That's pretty easy, actually. So you never want to go east of the most western point of Brooklyn is what I would say, number one. It's only going to end poorly for you. The second thing I would say is you have to be honest with yourself and give a good self-assessment. So be like, am I more like, a rich kid type who, sort of is pretentious and carries himself a certain way? Okay, I should probably be hanging out on the Upper East Side. Am I more like, edgy-looking artist type person who, thinks of themselves as, like, trendy and cool? All all right, I should go to the Lower East Side. You know what I mean? Like, you have to do self-assessment of what kind of person you think you are and the kind of people you like to hang out with, and then plan your going out activities accordingly.
Hey, Rick, they're playing that annual outdoor hockey game this week over there, right?
Yeah, I think they did it Sunday, actually.
Was this Sunday?
Yeah.
How did that go? Did you see any part of it? Did you get to it?
No, actually, someone in my office went, but they said it was pretty good. I mean, they were like, actually, it was funny. He was like, I expected it to be colder, but, you know, it actually wasn't bad. He said the worst part about it was that because they held it at Yankee Stadium, they're used to, like, a more... Like, not everyone leaves to go get, chips and soda and whatever at the concessions at the same time in baseball. Whereas in hockey, I mean, everybody goes in the 2 intermissions.
Right.
So the guy was like, the lines were insane. You know, people were fighting with the counter people. Like, it was a mess.
Yeah, it probably wasn't set up for the hockey crowd.
Right, but I mean, they just didn't think it through. Like, they didn't staff enough people to be like, oh wait, there's going to be more people than usual.
Right.
So people were unhappy about waiting for beer and food and that kind of thing. But no, the funniest thing about the hockey thing was that the one they played in LA went fine, and then the one in New York got delayed because of the glare off the ice. Like, you couldn't see anything. They were like, this is fucking retarded. Like it doesn't even feel like the sun is out here. What glare off the ice?
Last question, man. Yes or no question. Is Kevin Durant the MVP?
Oh, how could he not be? That's 100% yes. LeBron's still
What are
the
you
best player
oohing
in the
about?
world.
I'm not saying. I'm just.
What are you oohing about? We've just had 2 years of bow before LeBron's cock. He's gold and he's the king.
Alan, you're jumping on me.
No, because ooh. What are you
I didn't even
about?
mean it. I didn't even mean it. It was just like one of those Antiguan.
What are you? It's
Come on, man.
Oh, this is amazing. This is like someone trying to explain to Tom Cruise that Scientology is bullshit, and everybody's getting mad. Like, oh, what do you mean? The fuck do you mean, man? You guys are so indoctrinated. I mean, you get to watch LeBron, you lucky motherfuckers. Anyway.
Hey, isn't it too early to call it, though?
No, you could see the rose here that it was gonna happen. Everyone didn't want to give it to him.
Here's the thing, and I feel like this is a big reason why LeBron's not going to get the MVP, and that's Chris Bosh. He actually has another All-Star that he knows can get 20 to 25 a night, or if Wade's playing. Durant has to do so much for that team with Westbrook out that you kind of can't deny the load he's carrying, and they're still fucking winning. I mean, even tonight, to go on the road and beat the Heat is not an easy thing, no matter how much they're coasting. So,
and they beat him down.
Yeah, I feel like he's been undeniable this year, man.
Well, you got another one?
Hey, no, I got one. Hey, how cold is it over there right now?
I think it was 20 last time I checked.
20?
Yeah.
Where are you?
Where am I? I'm in Brooklyn.
What, you're at a party or something?
Oh, no, I was just at this restaurant. I'm walking home now. Maybe we'll walk to a girl's house after this, or a friend's house. I don't know. We'll see.
There you go.
Oh, yeah. What kind of restaurant?
It's weird.
Stop, man. Stop, man. Ricky, we appreciate it, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, man.
All right, thanks for having me.
All right,
man.
be safe.
Congratulations on the 1 year.
Hey, man, stay warm.
Later.
All right.
Peace.
That was Ricky.
I'm
What
gonna
are you
throw this
doing?
out there. If enjoying the 60 degrees is the coldest we get is being a pussy, I'm signing up. I'm good with that, man. 20 degrees, my ass.
All right, man. Let's get this bad boy to an end. We got a George montage. We've all had pretty much a montage for each of us.
My God, it's midnight.
Yeah, I know. I'm telling you, that's why to bring the coffee. I told you, I warned you. But this is the last segment. We're in the final run through. So here is a montage of George. We're not professionals. None of us are professionals. Okay. Sometimes we struggle.
Far from it.
George.
But George is a professional at what he does.
Here we go.
Well, I was starting to tell you that Joe Rose interviewed, what's his name? Like last week.
Say a name, any name.
Name. It don't matter.
Say a name.
McDaniel, I think it was his name is.
He was interviewing McDaniels?
Yeah. You never had cannoli before?
Never. It's all right.
What's a cannoli?
It's overrated. It's basically an elephant ear that's wrapped in a circle and stuffed with cream.
And then has powdered sugar on
But
top.
and powdered sugar.
We have the same thing, but it's backwards. The cream is on top. We have the same thing. I mean,
who's we?
Cubans.
What is it? What is it called? I don't know what you're thinking
It's
of.
called, I don't remember.
All right.
But we do. Napoleon, no, something else. I don't know. You know who I watched, and I think he looks pretty good too, was the quarterback for Michigan.
Bernard Robinson?
Yeah.
Denard Robinson?
Denard?
Whatever his name is.
Yeah, Denard Robinson.
Yeah. I have a disease because I have a large penis.
That's true. But you can't stop that.
I love Sid, so.
You love Sid?
Yeah.
Love to hate him.
I love to hate him. I don't listen to him. The white man, let me take
Carlos,
that back. The black
I
man
know.
is keeping me down. I am tired. Mateo,
chip in,
me tiro cuatro peo. You know, he played college with, what's his name? Our quarterback. Or I don't know if he was an undergrad. And he was just like a ball boy for the Colts, for the Green Bay guy.
Lombardi.
Vince Lombardi?
No, somebody else. Anyways, it wasn't Lombardi. It was somebody else.
Sometimes.
Man, that was good.
Sometimes when George goes on his smoking breaks, there are certain things that we call bonus segments.
Bonus segments.
Our first bonus segment ever was George in the future. Okay, listen. This is a bonus segment that, for all the listeners, there's no music.
There's nothing.
Nothing here. George isn't here. George is not here. We have George Cam. He's out there smoking a cigarette. So this is what we'll do. I'll be George in about 20 years. You guys carry the conversation. Go. Just talk about, whatever.
All right.
Tannehill has become like a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Yeah, well, that's the good thing. The good thing is he developed so quickly, and he became the kind of player that we needed to take us to the 4 straight Super Bowls that we've won.
Te lo dije. Te lo dije que he was going to be the best.
And you know what?
Te lo dije. Tom Brady. I told you.
George, you called it incognito as a Pro Bowl level tight end.
I'm the best, and I'm the best looking one here. Hold on, let me clear this out.
George, man, hey, wipe up the freaking desk, man.
Oh yeah, let me tell you something. When Yvette gets at me, you know what she does?
Huh?
She sucks my trach.
She sucks your trach. Hey, you want to go have
That's the best way to get at me in the future.
You want to go have a cigarette?
A cigarette?
Huh?
I'm a fucking chimney.
George, do you smoke? Do you smoke up in your lip anymore, or do you just take the little patch off the
¿Por
trachea?
qué? ¿Pero por qué?
Just
It's
stick it
closer to the lungs from where it is now. Oh my god. He's never heard that. George has never heard of that.
But it's online if you ever wanted to hear it.
That was funny.
Okay. Now we get to the last and final. This is probably the
God, that was good.
what is it? The what does Lebatard do that's a must listen to? Ron McGill sort of stuff?
Yeah, Romeo, definitely.
You know, Van Gundy, whenever he has a segment, it's the go-to people listen to the most. Like when he used to do the douche or no douche.
Douche or no douche, or the what's that game show with the board?
Yeah, like the game show game,
yeah.
whatever. Okay.
Yeah, with the Michigan guy. Yeah.
Lombardi? No.
It's come mierda for us.
It's closer to the lung.
Come mierda for us is I know.
That was funny.
Come mierda for us is our go-to segment. And there's been a lot of great come mierdas. It was very, very difficult for me to pick out, some of our best ones. So I'm going to start with George, because just to finish off his audio. George has, again, it was hard to choose his because not only has he been missing on, a few shows, some of your come mierdas, they're morbid.
Because they're dead.
Yeah, it's like death. It was hard to cut up stuff. Like one time you did say death. That was your come mierda. And then another one, it was, a lady running over a kid or the shooting in Oklahoma or stuff. So it was hard for me to find, or sometimes it was us, so it was hard for me to find some good stuff. But this is the Sports Table Year 1, George's best come mierdas. Alan.
You know what? I'm gonna use this one. I'm not gonna say it come in as a negative way. I'm I'm gonna go with a positive come mierda. George, you are my positive come mierda today. You have ransacked and caused chaos today that I can only enjoy. So while I can call you a come mierda, it's almost like I should give you a crown and a royal cape. You should have the fucking Game of Thrones thing on you with Tyrion just clapping behind you because of what you've done today. Thank you, George. You are my come mierda of the week with a pat on the ass for awesomeness on this one.
You know, if you turn on the TV, I wouldn't do anything what I'm doing right now.
And mind you, he was the one that turned off the television.
I know.
All the time, man. We all learned from that last mistake. You gotta say it.
No. Go mierda.
Is your goal this show just to bring a halt to everything?
I'm not. What? Okay,
Come on,
never
man.
mind.
Just say Dolphins and your mic is off.
Dolphins.
I don't even care about my come mierda. I changed my come mierda to George. Alan, I double your come mierda up.
You know what? I want to hear about the banana hammock
You know
boy.
what? Say it. George Menendez, you are my come mierda.
You know what? I'm going to third. I am going to name myself the come mierda of the week.
Oye, era serie, rey de come mierda.
Okay.
The only triple winner in one episode.
In sports table history.
In sports table history.
What do you hear my come mierda today?
Then you know what? Next, let's go to Alan. Okay, this is Alan's year in review, best of come mierda.
Jaden Smith. Jaden Smith is the son of Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith. He's also the star of The Karate Kid, which unusually was in China, despite the fact that karate is not Chinese. Jaden Smith is also the boyfriend of Kylie Jenner, which means he has chosen to be a part of the Kardashians, which in and of itself is an indictment on his soul, and he should be a come mierda just for that. He also considers Justin Bieber a friend. Justin Bieber, a recurring come mierda on our show.
I think he holds equal status with Jeffrey.
It's pretty close, right? He's been here as many times. All right. So Jaden Smith goes to Twitter and begins a tirade against the education system. And I'm not talking a tirade in which Carlos would berate government for running it poorly and the things that go wrong. No. Jaden Smith goes on a tirade about education as a system to control young minds.
How old is this guy?
15, by the way. He's 15. And the Twitter tirade had no punctuations. Every first letter was capitalized. So he doesn't know how to use English. He's not using Twitter English.
Well, that's why he's railing against the education
Yeah.
system.
So he goes on this tirade where education is some kind of ridiculous tool.
You know why he does that, right? Because his daddy's worth $175 million.
We'll get to it.
Otherwise, he wouldn't be talking about education being worthless because he'd be out there trying to get an education.
Because his dad, here's the thing. All that said, his dad and his mom bankrolled a school in California for 3 years. And the problem here is not even that contradiction. Will and Jada apparently believe that you should not talk to their children like their children. At some point in development, you tell kids to clean their room. You're trying to raise them. You're trying to, bring them some structure. Apparently, Will and Jada don't believe you should ever do that. You should talk to them like they're adults, even though they're not adults. So what resulted is a 15-year-old who's decided to be a Kardashian, friends with Bieber, and spoken against education while being able to use English on Twitter and said that newborn babies should be the smartest people in the world, even though they have no concept of language.
Or a fully developed brain.
That's where I'm going with the concept of language. Thank you.
I mean, come mierda.
There you go.
What's the next come mierda? God damn it, man. This took forever.
Come mierdas. All right. The last one. I'm not even going to speak. He is a show favorite. Please put the music down and play the clip in which I prepared for you on your desktop.
Oh, we have a clip.
Yeah. I want you to hear it.
Yeah, that's right.
And I don't have to say anything. Just listen. At the end, I will tell you what he is.
No, you got to talk a little bit more.
I got to talk a little bit more? All right, we're going to talk about show favorite, Kanye West.
Oh, yes.
Okay,
Father of Northwest?
Father of Northwest.
People used to use the term
I got to hear.
Father of Northwest.
Just
when
listen.
people used to use the term R&B, right? People used to use the term, but then it was rappers. But then rappers didn't want to be no R&B. Now the rappers is the new R&B. The rappers is the new radio. Like, where's the culture at?
Yeah.
Where is the culture at? So then I scream and I'm sitting in the middle of it. Whether I'm at a dinner where Anna Wintour or, you know, I'm at a listening session with Pusha, or me and Virgil are in Rome giving designs to Fendi over and over and getting our designs knocked down. Brought the leather jogging pants 6 years ago to Fendi, and they said no.
What the fuck is a leather jogging pant?
You done seen with a leather jogging pant?
Zero.
Okay. Meaning, like, so when I see Hedy Slimane, and it's all like, okay, this is my take on the world. Yeah, he got some nice $5,000 jeans in there. It's some nice ones here and there, some good here and there. But we culture. Rap the new rock and roll. We culture. Rap is the new rock and roll. We the rock stars.
It's been like that now for a minute.
It's been like that for a minute, Hedy Slimane. It's been like that for a minute. We the real rock stars, and I'm the biggest of all of them.
Come mierda! You know what? Our country's going to shit. I mean, when it's things like that, when we're actually listening to people like that, and people like that actually have control in our society, that's when you know that we got problems. I mean, again, no wonder so many parts of the world hate us. I mean, when it's people like that,
why? We culture.
we culture.
No, not culture. We culture.
But we've been like that for a minute now. I'm done.
That's right. We've been like that for a minute, Carlos. That's right.
All right.
That was sick.
Leather jogging pants. Who the fuck would wear leather? Why would you wear leather jogging pants? So your balls can sweat off? Why? $5,000 jeans. Nah, there's some okay. They good. He got some good stuff. Okay.
$5,000 jeans.
Good show today, guys. You know what? Good show today, Alan. I'm so happy you're back.
Leather jogging pants. I brought it 6 years ago to Fendi. They didn't want it.
It's nice to see Fendi.
By the way, another voice by you, Alan, to add.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
The angry Kanyan.
Kanyan?
Kanyan. We call him Kanyan.
This is my Come Mierda, and then we're gonna jump to Carlos's, which is well, I'll get to there in a second. This is my Come Mierda. I want to start off. I'm flipping through the channels. I flip on the Discovery Channel. It's like 2 days ago, and I see some guy. I see a running clock, 26 minutes, 27 minutes, and this white guy in jeans and like and a white T-shirt, whatever, a blue T-shirt, walking across the Grand Canyon on a tightrope. His name is the Walinda. I don't know what his first name is, but it's the Flying Walindas. You know that family that they all...
Yeah, famous tightrope family.
His grandfather died.
Yeah, from the tightrope.
He's a come mierda because, dude, you're going to fall. You're going to fall. You're lucky you didn't fall at one time, but you're going to fall. Halfway through, he's like, oh, man, it's windy. Really? It's windy in the Grand Canyon? Walking across, they were like 600, 700 feet. And he had no strings attached to the rope. If he would have fallen, he would have been done a wrap. See you later. Joel Osteen would have been like, oh my God. Because Joel Osteen was there. He's not my come mierda, even though he is a come mierda. Aaron Hernandez, you're one come mierda. Not because you killed someone. It's not because you killed someone. It's the fact that you tried to destroy your phone and your security tape. Dude, we found the Boston bombers in 3 days. We found Osama bin Laden in Pakistan. We're gonna find your freaking phone. We're gonna find the evidence to put you in jail. You're a come mierda for trying to hide from the cops. That's what come mierda. That's not it though. Oh, here's my third and then my final come mierda of the week. The freaking parade guys that they get on the double-decker buses. Dude, they're coming towards the bridges. They forget that the guys are on top of those double-decker buses. They're 7 feet tall. They're 6.5 feet tall. They have to duck underneath the bridges. You know how crazy that is? You're a parade. These are the champions, the back-to-back champions. You're gonna make them duck so they don't get hurt. On the day of their celebration, they're all drunk. They're all high. They don't know where they are. I'm so happy no one got hurt. The freaking come mierdas, the parade designers. This last come mierda, I have to stop. And I have to play the audio just so you can emphasize and know how much of a freaking come mierda this guy is. The lawyer of Zimmerman, He in his opening statement, he's been there. He's been preparing for this for a year. The man's life is on the line. He opens it up with a freaking knock-knock joke.
Sometimes you have to laugh to keep from crying. So let me, at considerable risk, let me say, I'd like to tell you a little joke. I know how that may sound a bit weird in this context under these circumstances, but I think you're the perfect audience for it. As long as you if you don't like it or you don't think it's funny or inappropriate, that you don't hold it against Mr. Zimmerman. You can hold it against me if you want, but not Mr. Zimmerman. I have your assurance you won't. Here's how it goes. Knock, knock. Who's there? George Zimmerman. George Zimmerman, who? All right, good. You're on the jury. Nothing?
What?
That's funny.
No, it's not.
After what you folks have been through the last 2 or 3 weeks.
¿Qué clase de come mierda?
What the?
Can you believe that guy? He waited a whole year. The man's life is on the line, and he comes out with a knock-knock joke. That's not. It wasn't even funny. What? That wasn't funny?
Hey,
you
Chris.
guys didn't
Hey,
think
Chris.
that was funny?
Hey, Chris. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Come.
Come who?
Come mierda!
All right, guys. This is the best come mierda we've had ever on the show. I'm gonna say it. It's coming up next. It's Carlos's come mierda. I know we're all tired. This has been a marathon, and for the listeners, thank you for holding on.
That's fine. We're enjoying
to listen to it.
It's
but
nice to hear some of the old clips that we haven't heard in a while.
Yeah. Into the mic. Some things don't change.
What?
So this to me, and I think Alan, would you agree? Because you were there for this, is the best come mierda ever.
I don't know what clip you're about to play.
Carlos's clip. Well, for me, arguably for me, this is my favorite. Carlos was in
Can you
prime
argue with
condition.
yourself?
What?
Nothing. Never mind.
So here it is, my favorite of all time, and I think the best of the last year. Carlos's come mierda.
We're gonna travel with mine.
Yay.
We're going from Miami-Dade County. Then we're gonna go to Houston, and we're gonna end up in Iowa.
Oh my goodness!
In Corn City, baby.
I was hoping for
Shotgun.
Let me tell you something. Isabel Diaz Alamazar, Miami-Dade Public Schools. Wow, this lady, she's special, man. Let me tell you something. She's been a teacher for 3 years. She decided that for prom night, she was gonna help her students. So she goes out and she rents $1,000 a night penthouse apartment in one of the upscale hotels in Miami, right? For 15 students that she invites. And not only does she invite them, but after she invites them, she provides alcohol to the students. She provides condoms to the students. Her and her husband go to the penthouse and they help the kids dress and get ready and provide baskets and make baskets for the kids and cook for them and hang out. Then her husband leaves and she stays there. Then they start sending out Instagram pictures of the condoms and the drinks and the thing and the baskets, and all the kids are saying, "Thanks, Miss D. We appreciate your help with this." And now, today, she was fired.
Yeah.
She was fired.
That's more along
She was
the
fired.
lines.
But her attorney says, this is not really a career-threatening misdemeanor.
What?
It should not be something that ends her career as an educator of young people. Hey, we're trying to educate kids. We're trying to protect kids. Get the
frick out of here.
You crazy bitch. You're giving them alcohol and you're giving them condoms? Not only Houston, but we're going to actually keep it within the realm of sports because we're going to go to Minute Maid Park.
Okay.
All right? And I got visuals for you here. I got visuals which I'm going to pass around. I want you to take a good look at this and understand what you're looking at as I give it to you.
Okay,
now,
what
I
is
don't
this?
know if you can make that out, but what you're seeing there is a stall, a bathroom.
Oh my God.
A tray of snow cones from the snow cone
Oh my
vendor
God.
as he takes a dump in the bathroom with the snow cone tray on the floor. Somebody caught him in there, took pictures of it, and through the bottom of the door, you can see the snow cone tray with like 4 snow cones propped on the tray and the guy's legs dumping. And now that son of a bitch is gonna go out and sell snow cones to a kid or to me. You know what? I think we need to get in touch with JD Martinez and find out who the hell this guy is.
Find out if he's still working for them.
You got shit going.
Because that's too much right
What
there.
flavor y'all want? Lemonade or chocolate?
That's too much, man. I say you take a picture of the picture and you tweet or Instagram JD and ask him what the hell's going on at Minute Maid Field. Do we have to worry about our food when we go there?
What's his thought process, man?
Yeah, exactly.
What's his thought
What are you
process? He's
thinking?
like, you know what? He's like, nah, this will be cool if I hold it right here.
Let me just put this on the floor, my bag on the side, and I'm taking a dump staring at 4 snow cones. You know, come on, man. Anything you can get up and do a little shake, a little splash, it's gonna go on the cone. I don't want to know that, man. No. Here we go, Iowa. Iowa, it's all of Iowa now. We're not talking about the residents or the people. I'm talking about everybody with a political position in Iowa that makes any kind of decisions in Iowa.
Sons of bitches.
The Gun Control Act of 1968. Unfortunately, that act prohibits the state of Iowa from denying guns to any citizen or resident.
Right.
So anybody can get a gun. Problem is, blind people are applying for permits to carry weapons. They're giving permits to the blind.
That's a
Legally
whole new...
blind people. And the sheriff says, and I quote, "You can teach a blind person how to shoot."
That's a whole new spin on shot in the dark.
I don't know how you do that. You're blind. All I've got to do is throw something to the other side to distract you, and you think it's there. You're going to shoot that way, and I'm going to get you. It's just called deception. It's not that difficult, Sheriff. Most people that are sighted can't shoot. The Iowa 1968 Gun Control Act.
Wait.
And every legislator that allows a blind person to carry a weapon. I'm not going to Iowa. You are all, every single last one of you, including the blind who want to carry a gun. Come mierdas.
Come mierda!
Wow.
Listen, I remember being there and not being able to breathe.
Yeah, you could hear it. You could hear it. Or you're just dying and broken in the background.
I remember being there and not being able to breathe. Well, gentlemen, this was a year in review.
Wow, that was spectacular. That really was fun.
This has been a year in review. We've had special guests, and we've had sports, and we've had flashbacks, but we have business to take care of before we get out of here, and that's today's Come Mierda of the week. Who wants to go first?
One Come Mierda, please.
Jorge wants out.
Choose your Come Mierda wisely.
Jorge wants out.
Oh, man, I have 2.
Choose your Come
Give one to
Mierda
Chris.
wisely.
All right, so I'll go first.
There you go.
Let's see. Moving down. Middle school in Gaffney, South Carolina. Now, Carlos, you've been involved in football at many ages.
Yes, I have.
What's the oddest thing a player has done to an opposing team in the form of prank?
Move the football before they snap it. That happened in one of my games.
Like Charlie Brown?
Almost as the center was going to hike it, my nose guard smacked it away from him.
Well, in South Carolina, there's a middle schooler who thought putting bleach in the Gatorade of the opposing team was a good idea.
Wow. That could hurt.
Yeah, so this kid's suspended and really screwed over. Yeah. So just in general, as a matter of principle, don't put bleach in anything unless it's your laundry. This kid does not know this. He thought bleach in someone's Gatorade was a good idea. Come mierda.
Big time.
He didn't go to jail?
Not yet.
Not yet, yeah.
Not yet. When someone dies, you'll see him in jail. All right. So, Marshawn Lynch. I have no problems with Marshawn Lynch. Marshawn Lynch is a quiet guy. Doesn't want to talk to the media. I wouldn't want to talk to the media either. Marshawn Lynch has also inspired 2 specific little fads, which are he causes earthquakes like a Pokemon and Skittles.
Yes.
Now, these people in Seattle have taken to the Skittles thing particularly because Pokemon aren't real, and Skittles are. So as I'm wandering the internet looking for things to find odd, and they weren't North Korea related, apparently there's a sausage-making company on the outskirts of Seattle that has a very particular sausage. Now, I have no real qualms about sausages. I don't really eat many sausages. I know, certain cultures, Polish, the Germans, they care more. But in general, I don't think Skittles go in a sausage. The number one seller for this Seattle meat market is what's called the Beast Mode, which is a spicy sausage made with Skittles. Now, in general, you also don't want to know what's in the sausage, and Skittles appearing in the sausage makes it so much worse. So for putting Skittles in a mystery meat mix encased in intestine, Seattle eaters of the Beast Mode sausage, you are my Come Mierda of the week. Come Mierda.
Fantastic. I'm gonna go next if that's okay.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna go to New York and I'm gonna talk about a new religion. Have you guys heard the word?
No.
Have you guys heard the word of Yeezianity?
Yeezianity.
Yeezianity.
Nope.
I'm about 2 inches away from punching you in the face.
This is...
I know where this is going.
This is the religion, a real religion, founded in New York City, based around the worship and preachings of Kanye West.
Son of a...
It's called Yeezianity.
Yeezianity.
Okay? There's a 23-year-old that started a real religion, okay? And he has a whole following of disciples, okay? I'm gonna scroll through some of the quotes that he says. He has thousands of followers, multiple thousands of followers in New York City. Here's just some of the quotes from the head chaplain, I guess, of disciples. Look at Alan's face. He says, "I wouldn't say I'm just a fan. Kanye has been one of my biggest heroes, and I always want to aspire to be like him." He talks about Jesus, and he says, "Being perfect like Jesus it's too much. It's unattainable. Being like Kanye West is attainable. That's who we should all strive for." He has 5 pillars of Yeezianity.
Oh, he's thought this through.
Yeah. This is a legitimate religion.
He's put some time into this.
As legitimate as you can get, based around Kanye West. And then there was one last quote that was really good. He said, "I believe in Jesus, and we post all of our teachings on social media." Yep. That's the new religion of the world.
Wow, that's it.
Are you ready to convert?
Actually, I was.
You know what I'm ready for?
I'm just thinking about how screwed up our country is.
So amazing.
Can I put an open invitation to all the meatheads and assassins in the world? This man needs more than deportation. I would send him to North Korea, but I'm not sure that would do anything.
You know what the worst part is? I'm sure Kanye West is like, "You see what I got, babe? I got a whole religion.
Mike Ditka,
I am Jesus.
I need you to go to Fisttown on him. Verlander, high and tight. Whatever ridiculous form of violence we got, please bring it upon this man.
Yeah, it should be enforced. Yep, absolutely.
Oh my God.
So for all the disciples and the creator of Yeezianity and everyone involved with it, you are all my holy Come Mierdas of the week.
Come Mierda! I feel like I've
we might
entered
as well
hell.
stay in New York City, Dateline, New York.
Oh, Dateline, I like it.
Michael Scudo, New York City Congressman, Representative, Republican. He's being interviewed. Everybody here's been to Washington, right? Been to the Capitol building?
I have.
When you're inside the rotunda and then you're standing there and there's the balcony, you look over the side. He was right there leaning inside, and he's being interviewed by this smallish reporter. And the smallish reporter asks him a simple question. Congressman's been in the process of being investigated for manipulation and inappropriate use of campaign funds. So he's asking him a question in reference to that. He leans into him during the interview real close, like if the camera's not going to catch it. And he says to him, "If you ever do that to me again, I'll throw you off this balcony. I'll break you in half, little man." The kid it looked like he was 22, 23 on internship doing it. And he said, kind of taken aback and stunned. And he says, "Congressman, I think it's a legitimate question. This is actually happening. And he leans back into him again. And he says, I just told you I'll throw you off this balcony if you ask me that again."
Oh my gosh.
Gangster. Hey, gangster, this is not 1947. You don't throw people off balconies when there are reporters asking you questions that you don't like. And for that, my man, you will not get reelected, and you also are my come mierda for the week.
Come mierda.
Yeah, congressman.
Can we send that guy after Yeezy guy?
Yeah, there you go.
My God, I have never supported a government official like I will support this guy if he hunts down this guy.
Let's write him a letter.
Oh my God.
Let's write him a letter to his congressional office. We'll do that.
That is very, very good.
How could he not realize he's being recorded?
He did.
The camera's right there. He thought if he got close enough to the reporter and whispered it to him, he couldn't hear him.
Oh my
Very
God.
clearly heard. Very clearly heard. And George.
What?
It's on you now.
Oh, my come mierda of the week. For the first time, I'm going to nominate myself.
Into the mic, bro. I didn't hear
I
that.
think it's going to be the second time. You've done that
What?
before.
No, I never done me.
Yeah, you had that unanimous
George, if you paid attention.
No, yeah, but everybody voted for me except me.
No,
And no, you
were the
joined- you
third
joined
vote,
in. You
George.
joined
You
in.
made it the third one.
You joined in.
Okay, for the second time.
He's not changing it, damn it.
Last week, 2 weeks ago, I guess it was 2 weeks ago, I sent in a car payment for Yvette's car. And today, I'm checking the checking account, and I see that they have returned my payment. The exact same amount that I sent the car, the company, they have sent it back. So I'm starting to think, what happened? I call Nissan Financial Acceptance, whatever the hell it's called, and I said, give my loan number. They said, listen, I sent out the payment last week or 2 weeks ago, and it was returned this week, yesterday. Is there anything wrong? And she goes, yeah, there's something wrong. You already paid off the car. Woo! And I was like, what do you mean I paid off the car? And she goes, yes, November was your last payment. December was your last payment. And you paid, and it was returned to you. And I was like, what do you mean the car is paid for? And I really thought for a second my dad had paid for it. And I was like, who paid for it? And she goes, you did. The last payment you did because I was making extra payments.
Right. Everyone's
I was not making extra payment. I was making, the payment, I think the payment was $500. I was making like $550. I really don't know when it was going to be due. But I was very happy that I found out the car paid for.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Yeah, thank you. But I did send $550 of my hard-earned money to them
that you didn't want to send.
That I did not want to send. So for sending money that I don't have, I give myself the come mierda of the
Come mierda. And Nissan uncome mierda for sending it back.
For sending it back.
to them.
Not only that, I would have kept on paying them
for months.
$550.
They could have milked you for
Man,
$6,000, $7,000
if that
more.
lady was there, if she would have realized it, she'd be like, oh, no, I'm sorry. I made a mistake. Why don't you send it to this account?
It was funny.
There you go. There you go. Okay. It's been a great show today, gentlemen.
Yes, it has. It's been very, very good.
Very long.
Yeah, it has, but you know what? It was worth it. We have thank you time, and I want to thank all the co-hosts that have been on the show, okay? So, not in any particular order. I want to thank Theo Raul, Matt, Josh, Adam, Rudy, Stemmer, Jason, Halfbeard, Anthony, and of course you three. Theo Carlos to my left, Alan to my right, and Theo George in front of me. Thanks to Defo and DefoRadio.com, and Mike and Ken. Thanks to Alan for YouTube. Try to describe the shows without.
You're welcome.
Look for us on Facebook. Look for us on Twitter. Maybe a blog. Huh?
A blog will be started, and we'll be announcing next week where it's going to be. Whether it's going to be hosted on our Facebook page, or whether it's going to be hosted somewhere else. But between now and then, if you're itching to hear from me, you can listen to me or read about me at sports_table.
I want to thank the
Remember,
fans.
he's got things to say.
Many things. That's why
A
we
lot of
started the
things to
blog.
say.
And thank you too, Chris. You do a great job moderating and putting this together every week.
No, he
We
doesn't. He
appreciate it.
hugs the whole show.
I want to thank the fans. As few as you are, you're loyal, and we appreciate the clicks. It's been good. It's been good for a year, and I'm looking forward to where we go in the future. For however long this show continues to run, this year has been special. So I want to thank all three of you for being here with me.
I think we need to make sports table polo shirts so we can wear them.
Yeah, man.
Hey, I suggested it before and I got shot down.
You
talked to your nephew.
This is a year later. This is a year later.
We could have had bumper stickers.
Yeah, but
and
you were talking the first month. He didn't know if we would do this more than 3 times. Now we've done 40 plus
We've done a
shows.
year. We've done a
It's
year.
time now to get hats and shirts and stickers.
Merchandising.
Merchandising.
Let's sell out.
Right.
So again,
sell our equipment. We'll put it out. You can buy our stuff online. It'd be great, man. I guarantee you we'll sell. If we get a nice polo, we will sell them.
You know what? If we put that Mike condom and said George put that in his mouth or around his face, it'll sell so fast.
We'll take video of him rubbing himself on it.
Which we have. Which we have.
Mic?
That's right. We do have that video.
You know how many people like just everything
Nah,
on that
it's nasty,
mic and
it's
you're
nasty.
Eskimo kissing.
That's why I don't get sick.
Oh, is that what it is? Is that what it is? It's like a vaccine.
So again, for Theo Carlos, Theo George, and Alan to my right, I'm Chris. We are the Sports Table. Thank you for a great year in the past. We look to see you again for next week and another year in the future. We'll catch you guys next week.
Super.
Later.
Peace.
Cuando Juanita y Chan Chan en el mar servían arena, como sacudía el jibe, a Chan Chan le daba pena.